Bubba, get out of there. What's up, everyone? Sorry, it's just yelling at my dog. What are you doing? He's getting into his costume. He has a little lobster costume over in the corner, and he's sniffing around it. What? Hi. Hello, Beauregard. Punch a plane in the face. Preview the planar incarnate. Okay. How to customize creature. Yeah, man, this planescape stuff. It's all over. It's all over. Can't wait for it. I'm 100% implementing it in my whatchamacallit. My campaign's coming up soon. Wait, where is everything? What happened? Why are all my windows gone? They were there a moment ago. Not even, man, I'm just rambling on. Nothing even on the screen. Dang. Bo took him with him, yeah. And then Dova brings him back. Not Dova. Hi. What are you doing? Here, no, come the other side. Come the other side. Here. Hey, come here. Come here, up. Come here. Come on, up. There's a big buddy. There's a big buddy. Yeah, there's a big Dova. Yeah, there's my big Dova. Oh, that's the mama's baby. All right, I gotta grab something because I want to reference it here in a moment. All right. Oh. How's everyone doing tonight? It's a Monday, after all. Those are either some of the best days or the worst days. But I mean, that's every day, right? It's every day. It's nice shirt. Ah, yeah, that's right. Loving this one. I got so lucky with that. I was like, plus, also, like, the moment I got it home, I had to cut the sleeves off just because that is my style. Oh, man. Yeah, also, bathing in the light of, I don't know if I can get on camera. There it is, my little Dungeon Master light. All kinds of, wait, here, actually, let me do this. Ooh, yeah. There you go. Oh yeah, oh my god, actually that shines really bright on my ceiling. Yeah, look at that. That's sick. I think that's a timer. Let me turn it off, turn it back on. Put it back to red. Yeah, there we go. Dungeon Master. Tell you what, that's one of the best parts about going to a convention. Get all kinds of, you see stuff that you're like I didn't know I needed that until now. Like, that's always the way that it is with me. It's like, I didn't know that I needed that until right this moment. And it has a remote. I don't know, like, none of the buttons are put on correctly or something. Like, it doesn't register each one of the colors. All right, so got a couple things too. That's right. Oh yeah, I saw the spinner rings. Yeah, can imagine that's a good fidget toy. I have a spinner here on my desk. It's one of the only spinners that I actually keep around because, I mean, I guess I do have my big die wheel that has like all the 6 polyhedral dice on it, but I very rarely ever use this. Plus, I'm also so afraid it's gonna like fall and break my foot because it's so heavy. Like, I use this occasionally if I'm rolling stuff. Maybe I'll use it tonight. I'm making a cultist after all. That's right. For those of you that didn't read the title, we're going to be chatting about the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation once again, because it is awesome and I love it. And I want to make a cultist. So we get into that a little bit. I also made an acrobat before, so that was I got to make an acrobat based on something I do want to talk about tonight. So I sat down for a little while. I've had this idea of a two class ideas, two subclass ideas, because I mean I love screwing around with subclasses. And I had this one idea for a subclass that I don't know where I heard it. It might have been in a stream, it might have been just chatter amongst some of the folks that I was talking to. But the concept came up of, imagine you're a rogue, but you're just like really fast. Like, that's it. Like, your whole shtick is that you're just super fast. And so that made me laugh. Which D&D class can help with my misery? Dude, yeah, so for those that don't know, Jared, I'll let Jared, you know, reveal it to the world if he wishes. Jared and I are sharing in a pain tonight. Not a pain that I have tonight, but a pain that I had very recently. And it's sucks. Our boy needs our emotional and physical support. I know you can reveal it, including the sickness. Yeah, that's true. So Jared's been not feeling too well, and you know, been you know, down with the sickness, as one might say. I believe what you said. Did you say you had strep throat and a sinus infection? And then just tonight, he said that he's never gonna make fun of me, or he apologizes for laughing at me for throwing my back out the one day while I was using the bathroom. And yeah, so apparently our boy there dealt with that. It is a pain unlike any other. Strep sinus infection, shit my insides out through my, yeah, it's a pain like none other, because it's one that you like, you're sitting there, you know, it's a very private, personal time, and all of a sudden you're like, life flashes before your eyes, because it's like, it's just that immediate pain, and you're like, this is where they're gonna find me, you know, half trowel, and just you know, in a very vulnerable state. My you know, much love out to you, my man. So Elvis knew what was up. That's right. Elvis went out like the king he was, like the absolute king he was. Oh man, what the funniest thing. I got to do something real quick. Cool. So yeah, you'll lurk and listen while you play. But yeah, go play My Hero Academia. Play that. I'm going to talk about a class that I'm going to talk about a subclass that I made that maybe you'll like, and then you can go from there. All right, so real quick, we're gonna pull up the compendium, and I need to. Oh, I didn't update it. I don't know if I ever talked about the Serpent Sales. I think I did. I think I talked about the College of Serpent Sales, but I may not have. Gotta put a star next to my new one. The Swift Blade. Yeah, so let's jump over. I mentioned Serpent Sales. Okay, yeah, I didn't know if I had talked about it. It's not fully done. This is one of those ones I'm still working on. So yeah, Bardic College of Serpent Sales is snake oil salesman's turned subclass. This is an idea I've had for a number of years of a imagine that you are a bard who is able to convince people that the water you're peddling is actually magic. So here's the way the class works. Let's pull this up, because I actually do want to. I have to pull up some items to show this in reference to. So, but yeah, while I'm pulling that up, we'll talk about it a bit. All right, so basically. Yeah, I'll read the flavor text. In dimly lit street corners and bustling market squares, bards... Wait, did I actually reuse the same... No, yes, I actually did. Bustling marketplace. Sorry. In dimly lit street corners and bustling market squares, bards of the College of Serpent Sales peddle their enigmatic elixirs to the hopeful and desperate alike. Draped in vibrant cloaks and armed with honeyed tongues, these masters of misdirection weave tales of miraculous cures, often with nothing more than colored water in their bottles. Yet for those who truly believe, their concoctions can work wonders. To the wary observer, it's clear the real magic isn't in the potion, but in the performance. So yeah, basically the idea of this is you have the ability to create potions, essentially. So third level, bonus proficiencies, you get proficiency in deception, which probably already should have taken by now, but you know, that's there. And you also get proficiency with the alchemist supplies and the poisoner's kit, and those will come into play in a minute. Third level, placebo potions. Wait, did I mess? Oh no, I didn't mess something up. So yeah, third level, placebo potions. Starting at third level, you can craft placebo potions using your alchemist supplies. As a 10-minute ritual, which can be performed during a short rest, you can craft a number of placebo potions equal to your charisma modifier. Initially, you can only replicate potions of common rarity. So what that means is at third level, you can create a number of these potions, and basically it is more of a performative art, but it's kind of along the lines of you're taking 10 minutes to mix some water, maybe some grass you found, maybe the nail clipping of a badger, or you know, in the page of a wizard's book, whatever it is, whatever you can get your hands on. These are not the actual components of these potions, you know, like it's not like pulling up I don't even know where it is. Here it is. It's not like pulling up this where, oh, if you want to make a potion of plain speak, you need cat's tongue and marusa bush, or if you want a potion of vitality, you need morning dew, cat's tongue, and olasuba leaf. You know, stuff like that is the actual potion making. This is that you're making placebos. So third level, you can make common, which means you can replicate the effects of a potion of climbing, comprehension, healing, and watchful rest. Seventh level, you get uncommon potions, which is actually a lot of the resistances. So you get like fire resistance, force resistance, all of those things. And then the rare ones is where you start getting into like spell varieties, and that's at 11th level. And then 15th level, you get into very rare, which is again the higher level spells, also stuff like supreme healing and whatnot. So how do these work? Well, when someone drinks this, they have to make an intelligence saving throw against your bard spell save DC. If they fail by 7 or more, it works as if it was a genuine potion of the type. If they fail by no more than 6, they gain temporary hit points equal to your bard level and your charisma modifier for a minute. And if they succeed, it has no effect. So I was very hesitant about, yes, we did talk about this at one time. So this is the reason why I've been very hesitant to make this subclass, because I wanted the whole shtick to be that you are playing off of people. You're playing off of people's ignorance. You're playing off of their inability to look past the story that you're trying to sell to them. So this is why it's basically, I was going to initially make it like an insight check versus your charisma, and have it be like a roll off. But I decided to go for an intelligence save against the spell save just because I felt it was more stable. But yeah, so that means that, if you and your party are out there and you're, say, level 3 or level 5 or whatever, and you come across something that is undecipherable, okay, it's in a language nobody understands, well, you can make a potion of comprehension. So what do? You spend 10 minutes, you create the potion using your alchemist supplies, and you give it to somebody in the party. Okay, and you convince them that it's real. Now, I know that in the new OneD&D thing, there's a whole thing where it's like a player can choose to fail a saving throw for stuff like Zone of Truth and whatnot. I will admit that does kind of throw a wrench into this, because this is something that you have to roll. But yeah, so basically it's like, okay, you roll, and if you roll low enough, cool, it works. You get comprehend languages for the hour. If it doesn't, okay, hey, it's no harm, no foul, but you did waste 10 minutes doing this. So that's the idea. That's the main thing, is you are kind of like an artificer in a way, but where these are just bottles of water that you are convincing people that they do a thing. Starting at 6th level, your Masterful Deceit enables you to concoct a toxin that resembles a healing potion. Using your Poisoner's Kit, you can spend an hour to craft a number of these deceptive toxins equal to your Charisma modifier. Then, as an action, you can splash it onto a creature within 5 feet of you. They make an intelligence save, and if they fail, they think you're trying to heal them. So you're in a fight, you're going up against an orc. You pull out this toxin that looks like a normal healing potion, and you splash it on them. They now have to make an intelligence save. If they fail, they're like, oh, that was a healing potion. You're trying to help me. Thank you. If they fail, they don't actually gain any hit points, but they feel this warmth to them. Okay, they feel like that they have been calmed and relaxed. Now, because of that, they will regard you as non-hostile and will not attack you until the start of your next turn, because at the start of your next turn, the toxin kicks in. They suddenly take 2d10 poison damage and are damaged for a minute. Now, if they succeed, and this is why the deceptive toxin, this is a gamble in a way. If they succeed on the save, they immediately recognize what you're doing. Now, it's still getting splashed with toxin, but it's going to take half that damage. It's going to take 1d10 poison damage, but it's going to get the opportunity to make an opportunity attack against you. So it's basically like, are you charismatic enough to convince this orc that you're trying to help it? Because if it sees through that deceit, if it for some reason has advantage because maybe it saw you do this to another creature, okay, then you have to, you have to choose whether or not you want to take that risk. So, and you can have a number of these equal to your charisma modifier. It's basically the same thing as oh wait, actually I think I accidentally, oh yeah, I did. I copied this one over and put it over here. Any unused toxins become inert. Yeah, I'll have to remove, or I'll have to change that. You know what, actually, let me change it now. I'll change it a bit. It's fine. Also, at 6th level, you can use your bardic inspiration to help sell your placebo potions and make them more effective. When a creature drinks one of your potions, you can use a reaction to expend a use of your bardic inspiration, rolling it and subtracting that from the number that the creature rolled. So at 6th level, you can make it a little bit easier to sell that your potions are actually doing what you said. You're trying to sell yourself off in a town where you're trying to really schmooze the people and make good with everyone. So you're out there hawking some potions of healing, like, oh, little Timmy broke his arm yesterday and he can't move it right. Well, I have a potion that can help with that. Or, he just got stabbed in a boss fight. Oh, here you go. And now, not only are they having to make that save, but it's like, oh, it was working, right? You feel that good sensation. You're feeling yourself being healed. And that's whenever it starts to kick in. And, now you can use bardic inspiration for that. And then lastly, 14th level, your mere presence and assuring words inspire belief. Creatures within 10 feet of you have disadvantage on intelligence saving throws against your placebo potions. Furthermore, when you or a creature within 10 feet of you drinks one of your potions and the outcome would grant temporary hit points, they gain an additional number of temp HP equal to your charisma modifier. So this is the one where if they fail by no more than 6, where they get those temporary hit points, now they get an additional buff. So just making it that much easier for potions to actually work. Because granted, there is only a few of them, and they do only, they you can only make so many of them. But obviously you don't want to obviously I don't have legendary listed here, but this is one of those things where it's only a couple, but you obviously don't want to have a ton of people wandering around for an hour drinking with potions of cloud giant strength. But then again, at 15th level, I think sometimes you've earned those power moments. So yeah, that was one that I created a little bit ago. I've been sitting on this idea. I know Jared and Stacy have heard about this one before, so but the one that I made the other day that I've kind of been sitting on, and it plays into the acrobat that I made, is the Swift Blade Rogue. Now, the idea behind this subclass is, what if you play a rogue who's just fast as fuck? Like, that's their whole that's everything they do. Okay, that's what I wanted. I wanted a subclass that was like, I'm the fastest thing around, and I can move so fast that like there's illusions of me. So Swiftblade Rogue. In every shadowy alley and bustling marketplace, tales are whispered of rogues so quick that they seem to vanish into thin air, their blades leaving only a glimmer before striking. These elusive figures are the Swiftblade Rogues, masters of speed and agility. Where other rogues rely solely on cunning or brute strength, the Swiftblade harnesses the raw power of speed, turning it into their greatest weapon. So 3rd level, Swift Reflexes. You gain advantage on initiative rolls, getting you into combat faster, and you can now take the dodge action as part of your cunning action ability. So all rogues get the cunning action ability, and that is that you can use a bonus action to dash, disengage, or hide. This now adds dodge to your ability. So you can use a dodge action, or you can use dodge as a bonus action to impose disadvantage on attacks against you until the start of your turn, and also you get advantage on dexterity checks. Additionally, your walking speed increases by 10 feet, and it increases to 20 feet, or that bonus increases to 20 feet at 13th level. I sat on this idea for a bit because I did not want to step on the toes of the monk and their unarmored movement. And there is very much a part of me that, even like just today, I was talking to a friend about this one. I really think I'm going to make this that I'm going to make it similar to unarmored defense. That is, while you are wearing what just happened to my stream? Oh, that was weird. While you are wearing no armor or light armor and are not wearing a shield, so, or putting in something where it's like, additionally, while not wearing medium or heavy armor, your speed increases. And that's mostly because, like, I understand how multi-classing works and I understand how power gaming is, and I could see somebody, like, you know, doing something like this and going 3 levels into this to snag that movement speed increase, and then going like paladin or something like that, you know, for the rest of it, or something where you're not using your bonus action a lot, maybe like a barbarian, and like being able to dodge for each one of your turns. So that was definitely a consideration I had to take. But the main crux of the class, the main feature, is at level 3, and I always hate making rogue subclasses because there's such a big gap between the first and second archetype features, because the first one's at 3rd level and you don't get your second one until 9th. And I get that there's some good things in between there, like uncanny dodge and evasion are really good, and you also get bumps to your whatchamacallit, your sneak attack. But man, I always hate that jump. So with this class at 3rd level, when you deal sneak attack damage, you can deal additional force damage based on your movement. For every 10 feet you move on your turn before the attack, you can add an extra 1d4 force damage to the sneak attack, up to a number of d4s equal to your dexterity modifier. And you can use this a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, getting them back on a long rest. So the idea behind this would be, if say you're playing a human, you move 30 feet and then you attack somebody, you have built up the momentum. That was said so weird. You have built up the momentum of that 30 feet of movement. So when you hit someone with your sneak attack, you are now dealing extra damage because of that movement. It's basically like the charger feat, but more geared towards the rogue. Now, originally I had made these D4 or D6s and also did not have a cap on them, and I sat down and broke it whenever I was like, well, if I'm playing a centaur that has a 40-foot movement speed and I'm at 5th level, let's say, I would have a 50-foot movement speed because of this, and at 5th level somebody could cast haste on me, which would double my movement speed, and then I could dash as a bonus action, further doubling my movement speed to 200 feet, and that would deal an extra 20 d6. Where they're like, that was so broken. And I talked to a friend of mine, and he's like, just cap it, like make it that it's your dexterity and that it's capped by that. And I'm like, yes, like that's a good idea. So yeah, that's why there is a cap on this. So at most, you like, if you did somehow get up to 50 feet of movement, whether you dash as a bonus action or you have haste on you, the most that you can do with this is an additional 5d4. So, and that's going to be you know, that's going to be anywhere from 4 to 20 points of damage, which is not an insignificant amount of damage, especially when you're already doing sneak attack. But this is requiring you to use all of that movement, and then, you know, you now have no additional movement. So it's kind of the opposite of steady aim. And funny enough, this whole thing of Momentum Strike geared me up for making the next subclass I'm going to make, which I'll talk about at the end of all this. So at 9th level, we have that big jump. Your rapid reflexes allow you to seemingly dilate time around you. When a creature within 30 feet makes 30 feet of you makes an attack roll against you, as a reaction, you can impose disadvantage on that attack roll, and if it misses, your next attack roll against that creature has advantage, and you can use that a number of times equal to proficiency. That whole thing is basically, you have, you know, you've moved so fast that they are moving slow. You have predicted not only their attack and have moved out of the way of it, but now you are gearing up your next attack against them because you have geared in on them. There's still a part of me that wants to make this 5 feet because I feel it's more appropriate. I'm still sitting on that one. I still have to make a change to haste of the Swiftblade, which is the capstone. But yeah, I'm still sitting on whether or not this should be 5 feet. This one definitely is not fully done. All right, so 13th level, we go up to your agility and nimbleness reach new heights, allowing your movements to become almost ghostly. You can no longer be restrained or grappled, and you ignore difficult terrain. So with this, additionally, once per long rest, you can cast the mirror image spell on yourself using your speed to create illusory duplicates of yourself. This whole thing, while a lot of the subclass was very much inspired by characters like the Flash or Professor Zoom, this one was very much like that, where I was like, Professor Zoom always did this thing where, you know, he'd like vibrate his hand fast enough that he could reach into your sternum and take out your heart. So I questioned, like, what if I could do that? Like, I can't be like, you wouldn't be able to be grabbed because you can almost like vibrate so fast that, you know, they can't hold on to you, or you can't be restrained because like nothing, you can just vibrate through it essentially. And from the beginning, I knew that this class was going to get mirror image and haste, so I wanted to put that one up here because I felt like it was starting to get to that point where it's like, oh cool, this is where you've become so fast, you're creating almost like you're like a ghost, and you can kind of split your part up. Very much those evocative scenes from the Flash comics and the TV show where you see like multiple of them just because they're moving so fast. And finally, 17th level, Haste of the Swiftblade. As a bonus action, you can tap into a wellspring of incredible speed to cast the haste spell on yourself without using a spell slot. While under the effects of your own haste spell through this feature, you also gain the following benefits. So here's the thing. Haste does a lot, and I wanted this to be like what the class was kind of built around, because I always thought it was really cool, or I thought it was cool whenever I was putting this together. I'm like, yeah, this is gonna have, like, this should have haste at some point, but I didn't want it to have it super early on because I felt like I'd have to limit it a lot more. And granted, it is once per long rest, but I felt like I wanted this to be something that was, you're getting a lot more out of it. And I actually have to make an edit to it based on something my friend and I were talking about. So I'm going to be putting that in just a second. But at 17th level, you can cast haste, and while you have haste, not only is your movement speed double, you get a +2 to AC, you have advantage on dex saves, and you can take an additional action that's either an attack, dash, disengage, hide, or use action. Now, the main thing is that you do have to deal with that, that lethargy that hits you at the end, for one turn. But in addition to all of this, attacks against you have disadvantage, and you gain a climbing and swimming speed equal to your walking speed. And this is just, you have moved so fast that creatures are now having a struggle to hit you. I'm also going to update it here in just a second. And that is that the damage die for momentum strike becomes D8s. So during this time, when you have this extra speed, these are no longer D4s, they're D8s. Now, originally when my buddy and I were talking about this, he recommended to me maybe lifting the cap or doubling the cap, and of how many you can have. And I was like, okay, well, why is it doing that? That's so weird. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't mind that. Like, I don't mind raising the cap, but that lowers not only the floor, but it also, that raises not only the floor, but it raises the ceiling. Because when I had thought of that, I was like, okay, so right now the most you can have is 5d6, and that is going to put you at, being able to do 5 to 20, 5d4. That's going to be able to put you between 5 and 20 points of damage. Now, if you raise the cap of that to 10, now you have gone from 5 to 20 to 10 to 40. But if you go and increase the damage die but keep the cap, you are still down at 5, and considering your dexterity would be 5 at that point, but the ceiling is a lot higher. So yeah, I decided to go with that. I also feel like it's a little bit more elegant to say, the damage die for momentum strikes becomes D8s. So wait, I didn't mean to put an apostrophe there. Should I put an apostrophe there? I always hate apostrophes. Yeah, no, I think it is. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, so that was the idea. That this was the subclass that I had recently come up with. I was curious about the wording, cast haste on yourself. Is that the thing? Yes. So this is something that could be counterspelled, because it is not that it is not worded in a way to say you can, replicate the effects of the mirror image. You can replicate the effects of the mirror image spell on yourself, or you can replicate the effects of the haste spell. So, rather than it be an ability or feature they gain. I was curious about the wording of cast the haste spell on yourself. Is that the sort of thing that can be counterspelled? Yeah. So the thing is there's a difference between, like, you are using a bonus action to cast a spell. So if an ability were to say, like, if I were to reword this to say something along the lines of, starting at 17th level, as a bonus action, you can tap into a wellspring of incredible speed. For 1 minute, your speed is doubled, you gain a +2 to your AC, you have advantage on dexterity saves, and you can take an additional action on each of your turns that is an attack, one weapon attack only. Dash, disengage, hide, or use an object. When this effect ends, the target can't move, when this effect ends, you can't move or take actions until the start of your next turn as a wave of lethargy sweeps over you. If I worded it that way, and then also put in like the different things, then, you know, it could not be counterspelled because it's the effects of haste. This is haste. Yeah. The reason why I did that, and I'm going to be straightforward, the reason why I did that is because I don't want to have to sit here and type out everything that I just said. Because the problem with that is that it can get more convoluted than it's worth. Can this mean that it can be counterspelled? Sure. Arguably, that means that, you know, like mirror image, for example, you know, you did not cast counterspell. I mean, sorry, let's look this up. Counterspell states you interrupt a creature in the process. Yeah, the spell fails. So that's the thing. Depending on the kind of DM that you have, you might be able to keep this effect if you haven't used it, or it could not work. But the reality is that, especially at this level, at 17th level, you kind of have to expect that, you know, some of your enemies are going to use counterspell, and you're going to have some class features where you can gain, you know, that give you abilities to cast certain spells and maybe have additional effects. That's the main thing. Like at 17th level, you kind of have to expect that a lot of characters, a lot of mages are going to have access to counterspell, and you have to be prepared for that. I mean, look at innate. That's true. That's true. Can make it innate. That's true. See, I have to consider that. Yeah, like I said, I also considered changing it to be, you know, like I said, starting at 17th level as a bonus action. You can tap into a wellspring of incredible speed to replicate the effects of the haste spell on yourself. Still up to date. Yeah, that's the other thing, you know, material, verbals, you know, and somatic. So like I said, I'm still working on this one, still brainstorming a lot of ideas. I will take these into account, just because, you know, like I said, it's one of those things where this is not the only one that I'm building at this moment. My other one I have notes on, haven't even fully like structured it out yet, but Momentum Strike, I had initially had this in reverse, which was whatever movement speed you have left, you can deal, you know, for every 10 feet, you can deal an additional amount of damage. And it was supposed to be this idea of like, I come up and I hit you, and I'm using my movement speed to now drive my dagger deeper into your heart, or I'm like running into you and like using that momentum to push into you. But my friend made a really good point whenever I brought this up to him, that instead of doing something like that, sacrificing your movement speed for that kind of damage would not really work thematically, but that would be better suited for something like a barbarian made of stone, where you're, you know, when you rage, you know, as a as a bonus action while raging, you can sacrifice your movement speed to gain an additional amount of damage, to your attack. This damage is you gain 1d6, of the weapon's damage type, equal to every 10 feet of movement that you have sacrificed. So this way, you could, the whole idea would be like you're planning yourself. You are storing up all that momentum that you could have, all that movement speed, and you are grounding yourself and you're using it to really push somebody back. Again, I only have base notes on it, but it's kind of like the two sides of the coin of speed, where you have the Swiftblade Rogue that's all about going fast and getting extra damage because of how fast they're moving and being able to move so fast that they're like a blur and you can't hold them down, and they get to do all these different things. And then a Barbarian who's literally like, the immovable object and the mountain in the in the proverb. So yeah, like I said, I'm still working on this one, so very much appreciate the feedback on it. I will work on the wording of these to make it so that it's, replicate the effects of. So all right, so yeah, let's move on from there. Oh, I lowered my screen. And let's talk about, there it is. Let us talk a bit about the character that kind of goes with it. So, as we all know, I mentioned you say similar thing. So, yes. So I do often point out, now, my biggest issue with stuff in the UA so let me, how can I phrase this the right way? I don't mind if a class feature gives you the ability to cast a spell if in some way that spell is buffed or is added onto, or if it's like in a something like the Phantom Steed, like, but if it's in addition to something else, like at 3rd level you can cast Phantom Steed and blah 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 blah. I do understand why it is sometimes necessary to have stuff where it's worded in such a way that it could be counterspelled, or that it would be applicable to being counterspelled, or stuff that, where you are just creating the effects of it, because sometimes it doesn't make sense to say you can replicate the effects of this. Sometimes it is just you cast this spell. What I don't like, and very heavily hated, and if I think it was UA6, what I didn't like was where's it at? Wait, did this one not have it? Was it UA5? Yes. What I don't like is when you have a spell feat, or when you have a class feature that is, you always have this spell prepared. This is what I don't like. Okay? I don't like when the class feature is that you have a spell. Because the problem with that is that you don't know the kind of character I want to make. You don't know all the details of the character I plan on playing. So I may not want Sorceress Vitality to regain a number of hit points and to end a condition on myself by using a 3rd level spell. I might want to play a burner character who is out there just exploding with wild magic, and I'm going to leave the healing and the condition mitigation to the paladins. That is what I don't like. Now, I will admit, this is that I gave this class feature, basically you can cast this spell. The big difference is it's without using a spell slot. It is only when you have that one, but it gives you these additives. So not only are you getting the haste spell, but you are now getting things in addition to that. So zhuzhing it up a bit. I'm not saying it's perfect comparison, but like the sorcerer to me was a far more egregious example, or God, I don't even want to look at this UA. But like something, something like this, for example. This requires you to have the Sorceress Incarnate spell, but that's it. Like this was all about like, oh, you have to cast a spell. You have to have this spell. Like, what if I didn't want that spell? But yeah, I probably will work on adjusting that. Do something here. Save, create version, and there we go. Sweet, there we go. So additionally, once per long rest, you can replicate the effects of the mirror image spell on yourself using your speed to create illusory duplicates. Starting at 17th level as a bonus action, you can tap into a wellspring of incredible speed to replicate the effects of the haste spell on yourself. While this effect is active, you also gain the following benefits. Attacks against you have disadvantage, you gain a climbing speed, and your momentum strike is the damage die is increased. So yeah, all right. So yeah, we'll jump back into what we're going to talk about. That is the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creations. So obviously I've talked about this a number of times on here. If you have not seen this, or if you are watching this after the fact on VOD, what's up? Greetings from the past. Things are still rough back here, but hopefully the future is better. Here is a link to the Kickstarter. What is that? Oh, I was like, wait, what is that? For some reason, everyone who has subscribed to my channel still has the founder, and I find that hilarious because I've added custom icons for each month that someone is subscribed to. But I love how right now they can't even be seen because everyone's considered like a founder who's subscribing to the channel. I find that hilarious. Yeah, so what you're seeing, oh, I gotta move these out of my way. There we go. Yeah, what you're seeing on the screen there is where did I put them? Is it under logos? No. I got so many folders. Is it under icons? I think it's under icons. Yeah, so for example, folks that are subscribed to me for 1 month will get this little D12 down here, and then we got 2 months, we got 3 months, we got 4 or 6 months. That's right, it jumps up to 6 months. Then we go up to 9, and finally 1 year. You get the red D12. This was an idea that my friend Jared actually gave me, was using D12s for the months, because you could do that. And I kind of thought that I'd have to do one for like each month, but no, it kind of jumps around. So yeah, that's what you get if you subscribe to the Twitch channel. So yeah, Jared, you have this great idea. But they are also very teeny tiny. It's so hard to see it up here in the corner. It's right there in the middle. That's the little itty bitty one, just a little gray blob. But if you notice about this, there's something special about those colors in particular. That's right. Not only are these D12s, and not only do they have the month that you are subscribed, those are the first 15 colors in the first 4. So you have, 15 minutes too long, 15 minutes was enough, 15 more minutes, and 15 hours please. And the elusive that have never been used, because nothing has ever garnered such attention, not 15 hours, but 15 days worth of playing and 15 months. Give me a year and a few. Yeah. So also those are like the basic colors when you are developing a video game. For the rarity of items is oftentimes your common items are gray, your uncommon are green, and then rare is blue, very rare is purple, and then you have like your legendary items, which are gold, and your exotics, which are red or orange. So, because if you subscribe for 1 month, that's just enough of Lucas. That's right. That's exactly it. That was 1 month too long. 1 month too long. All right. So yeah, we'll jump into this Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation. If you are curious about what you see here on the screen, like I said, go to this lovely Kickstarter to give you folks an update. It's fully funded. Hooray! I don't have any way to do confetti on here anymore because I deleted that GIF, so we'll see if I can put something up on the screen real quick. Oh, this would break my computer if I tried to put that on there. No. Oh yeah. Oh god. Yeah, this is probably gonna break my computer, but we'll do it. Let's save it to the desktop. Woo, there we go. Yay. Hey, confetti, yay. Yeah, so congratulations to Ryan Doyle of the Verdigris Table. You deserve so much credit for this. It was awesome. It is awesome. It's going to be even more awesome as we keep going. This is causing so much lag on my side. So yeah, like I said, we've been talking about this for a while. We've made a lot of awesome characters on here, and yes, some community member did create a handy PDF for it. So if you go to that link, if you go to the Kickstarter, you will see the main thing on there to look at under the campaign details is a beta draft of it. So go download that, look at it, read it, understand what this is. This is a great PDF to work with, or PDF. This is PDF, but this is such a great supplement to work with. But it's hit its first 2 stretch goals. Not only did it do its expected goal in 1 day, but we are up to PCM. Welcome. I'm not afraid anymore. Thank you. Your paladinic aura has calmed me, and you have cast calm emotions on me. But the stretch goals for the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation is at its 2nd tier now. Not only are we getting 100 character creation questions, I could also not, I could just not be a schmuck and just, it's that whole thing of show don't tell. There we go. Yes. Okay, so it has hit its goal right there, 2301. We still have 18 days to go. We have almost 3 weeks still left on this. So if you haven't jumped on it, do it now. Go back it. Or I will be upset with you. I will only be upset. I don't like being upset for too long, so just go download it, okay? Go back it. Get this beta draft. Yeah. Make some cool characters. Make some, like it says here, NPCs. That's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to make a cultist. But like I said, we hit stretch goals. This is awesome. 100 character creation questions and 100 PC/NPC physical traits. I love that. We were just talking about it in I was if you haven't seen my shirt here, I was at the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo this weekend, and where I got to meet Ryan and a lot of great folks. I got to meet Bob and Grace of Bob World Builder, and also Baron from Game Masterpiece, and a lot of awesome folks. And one of the things was talked about was having a simple table of like very basic race and a physical descriptor of like, oh, they're a kobold with a mohawk, or it's a half orc in a vest. And like, honestly, when that was brought up, of just like give it like a racial or species based descriptor, and then something about their clothing. And honestly, in my opinion, that clothing could 100% build the character. Like a kobold with a mohawk. What is that mohawk made of? Is it made of hair? That's weird. Why does it have a mohawk? Is he like a punk rocker who's has like chains hanging down? He has a bunch of piercings, because that's what it would be in my mind. An orc wearing a vest. He's some like posh and primped, butler who's waiting on you. He's like, greetings, gentlemen. Welcome to the Lord's affair. Who did he steal that hair from? Yeah, it's like, why does that kobold have hair? Where did he steal that from? And this was brought up of, as a way, and it might have been you, Ryan, who even said it, but as a way to like help differentiate creatures on a battlefield of like, oh, this one's wearing a pot on their head. And something like that is just a way of like, oh yeah, now he has extra AC because he's wearing a pot on his head, and he's a little bit harder to hit. Why isn't body modification in the it is, it's just, it's called it's called being a changeling, and also also like disguise self. Well, so piercings would always be like, I'm sure there is let me look that up. Funny enough, I look up piercings in D&D and it's just like, oh, it's oh, you want weapons that have the piercing damage type? But yeah, like piercings would definitely be something you could do. Tattoos are a big thing, especially in like Uthgarthian barbarian tribes, where tattoos in their tribes are oftentimes their stories and their tales. I made a wizard one time named Mavic, who was a Goliath evoker barbarian that his tattoos was his spell book. So he would like carve the symbols into his skin, and when he would cast a spell, they would flare up as he was, you know, using that as his he was his own material component. So like there is definitely options for that. But as Ryan said, we're gonna be moving on to personality traits after this. $200 more to get your friends to back this. I want to see what comes up with personality traits. That's love me some personality traits. That was one of my favorite things back in the day. Was making characters out of the player's handbook using the like personality traits, bonds, flaws, and ideals. And that was kind of like my introduction to D&D, was sitting there whenever I was copying the player's handbook into a document for my friends and like making characters with those. And that was kind of like, honestly, now that I think of it, that's kind of like the baby version of what we're working with here. You know, if we look onto you know, Friday the Souls for the backgrounds, you know, a lot of these have you know what, let's actually compare it. You know, an acolyte has suggested traits, so you could sit here and say, okay, I'm gonna roll, and my character sees omens in every event in action. The gods are trying to speak to us and we just need to listen. My ideal is tradition. The ancient traditions of worship and sacrifice must be preserved and upheld. Okay, so they're obviously somebody who is holding themselves to a high standard, because, you know, it's, you know, we need to listen to the gods, but you need to uphold traditions. The bond is, I will someday get revenge on the corrupt temple hierarchy that branded me a heretic. Okay, so this guy is fully lawful, but whoever is running that temple has, you know, he's trying to uphold traditions, they're trying to change it, so they've branded him as a heretic to it. And the flaw, I'm suspicious of strangers and expect the worst out of them. Well, that's clearly obvious, because now you've been kicked out of your temple and your brand is a heretic. Versus the compendium of explosive creation, where it's so much more involved, more options. The fact that it's like personality trait is a combination of drives, catalysts, and transformation. Like, these three are basically what the personality traits are. You know, the transformation could be seen as the ideal, because it's something that you're like, this is the thing that you are tied to. But, you know, how are you changing? How are you evolving throughout the game? You know, your ideal should be something that you base yourself on, but it should also be something that can evolve. You know, that's why we play characters, to level them up and see them evolve over time. The bond here, I mean, friendly factions, assets and allies, and magic items, that's the bonds. You know, this is building in-game resources that can be used by the player and the DM. That's basically the same thing as the bond here, but so many more options to really let you flesh that out. And then the flaw, I mean, honestly, you could build a flaw from any one of these. Just kind of do it in the reverse in a way, especially using the transformation as the flaw. Like, oh, I judge others harshly and myself even more severely. Well, maybe that's this blind follower. Okay, flaws could 100% be the, oh, I'm not, what the hell, I'm sorry, all my windows are wrong. There we go. There we go. Yep. We're gonna do this. Nope, this. There we go. And then we're gonna move this over here. Yeah. So like I'm looking at I'm looking at flaws. Basically, that's the first half of the transformation. Oh, I'm a submissive servant, but I want to eventually become a powerful leader. Your flaws should change. In time you should evolve past them. So this way, by the end, your flaws reduce, but over time you develop new flaws, or you maintain these, but you hold on, you hold on to something of that. I'm inflexible in my thinking. I mean, again, that's very much blind follower or strictly dogmatic. I mean, that I think is very very much more appropriate. So yeah, this is the compendium is this to the nth degree. It's basically what was there, but just so much more fleshed out. For those curious, you can, if you are looking to jump into this, give this a shot, you can go to the Kickstarter, and in the most recent update, I actually put together a little PDF here to make my life a little easier, and I figured share it with Ryan if other folks might find this useful. A little guide to help you as you develop your characters. So this PDF is available on the Kickstarter in the update that was put out today. So if you want to get a hold of that, definitely head over there and snag that. Yeah, so we made the acrobat. Well, I made the acrobat, sorry. I made the acrobat yesterday as I was finishing up my rogue. And I was like, okay, I honestly haven't even looked at much of this, because I rolled these dice, pasted them in here, and then moved on, because I was or wait, I didn't do it yesterday. I did it 2 nights ago. Yeah. Oh yeah, because I did it right after I made the document. Yeah, so that was it. So I haven't even had like a full chance to really look at this and expand upon it. I'm probably gonna make another PDF, because I want one that's like a big old filla thing, and like race and class and background and then story. All right, well, let's take a look at this. So on the drives, on the character motivations, which is the drives, dreams, and aspirations, I rolled an 11. Prove they are far beyond the average. So this is an acrobat. This is somebody that is kind of like Robin from Batman. This could be, a circus performer. This could be a rogue that is out there jumping from rooftop to rooftop. This could be a not even a circus performer, but just like a performer, somebody who's incredibly flexible. Maybe they are working for somebody just as entertainment. But this could also just be somebody who is into death-defying stunts. Maybe that's just where they get their thrills. So this character wants to prove that they are far beyond the average. So I was thinking there could be an additional PDF form. I had my own questions that come to mind. I'd want to answer. Wait, what? Questions come to mind that I'd want to answer for create. I don't know what that means. Ooh. My neck. All right. All right. So, calls to adventures. What's going on this computer, on this screen over here? Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, that was weird. That was weird. Stuff was just like acting up on one of my screens. All right, so like I said, we have an acrobat who needs to prove that they are far beyond the average. Their call to adventure is that the thrill is gone and they need a challenge. So obviously this is somebody who has a lot of confidence, a lot of self-confidence in themselves, and the arc is recklessness to courageous awareness. Now, a lot of times I have questions I'd ask myself when aiming to tie the sections together. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, I mean, hey, you can always, I mainly was using this as just a place where I can document these, because one of the nice things is like going into here and like then being able to pull up another, like a Word document and type some stuff up. That's the main reason why I wanted to build this. I'm not gonna lie, I considered, as you can see, like there's still room down here at the end, like in friendly factions or in magic items. If I wanted to give somebody like 2 magic items, I considered putting in like much bigger text field. It just doesn't work that well. But oh wait, there we go. Come on, wrong side. I think, because I'll tell you what, this was the first PDF I ever made. Yeah, see how small that makes it. I actually thought about putting in 2 lines, but then it doesn't like organize right. I don't know enough about PDFs to do things right. I throw stuff together and I make it work. All right, so obviously in our first 3 points, motivations, calls to adventure, and character arcs, this is a character who has a lot of self-confidence in themselves, and they are constantly doing things out there that are, death-defying. They are showcasing themselves, but being reckless. Like, that is the whole thing. And unlike some of the other characters that I have made with this compendium, where it's knowingly wanting to go from something like with the acolyte, for example, of a simplistic to, or well, let's say, blind follower to free thinker. Like, blind follower could come into play super easy, with the start of your adventure, okay, where you're somebody who just found out something crazy about your church and now you're starting to question it, and that's the spark for that character to eventually start becoming a free thinker. Maybe I'll do right up on connections the way I did. Ooh, yeah, there you go. But with this character, with the acrobat, I would actually want to play this character as not having the straight innate desire to go from recklessness to courageous awareness, because I want this character to start out as somebody who is acting recklessly, who is maybe not taking danger seriously, and in those moments, that's where he's now starting to have these thoughts, when maybe he does something and he fails a saving throw and falls and gets hurt, and the rest of the party has to save him or something like that, and they scold him for that. Like, acting recklessly can get you killed in D&D games. So I could see that being one that's like there in the background, when you're playing it up. All right. Friendly factions, the Sweep Chimneys, a clandestine group for hire that use their dexterous skills to spy and steal. Okay, so okay, so in my mind, okay, let me look at this. Assets and allies. Pietro, second story, is his nickname. An old troop member who now finds crime much more lucrative. Okay, so let's think. The Sweep Chimneys is obviously going to be a main group that we're focusing on. It's our allied faction. So I'm thinking with this character, the Sweep Chimneys is wait, what is I might be about to say the same thing and I'm just not knowing it. Yes. Okay, cool. So I always forget what clandestine means, but like anyone who considers themselves dexterous and acrobatic, such as, I love the idea of chimney sweeps, of actual acrobatics, of contortionists, like it says down here, daredevil, tightrope walker, trapeze artist, aerialist, tumbler, circus act, gymnast, anyone who is naturally dexterous, who jumps in with this group, being able to take on these different jobs. And I think this character that we are building is going to be a part of this, but I think Pietro is going to be somebody that maybe comes more from his background, because the phrase here, an old troop member, and I'm thinking maybe our character went from being, child, they loved, say, the circus, they loved performing, and especially they liked the acrobatics, or the acrobats, and they met Pietro, and he did this crazy act where he would climb up a building to the second story, and then from there would jump off and be able to survive or something like that. And so our character really took a shine to this. This was something that they really liked, and they wanted to have that life. So they joined the troop, and then eventually Pietro, who let's say he gets, he doesn't mind it, he doesn't mind doing the entertainment style, but he starts feeling as if maybe, maybe I'm not, maybe crime might be more of might be more of a money-making solution. Maybe the troop that he was with wasn't doing too great. Maybe it's this bigger circus, but hey, people aren't that into the acrobats now because they have a hedge wizard who's using like minor illusion and stuff like that to create these crazy displays. So I could see him joining the Sweep Chimneys, and as our character is moving their way up as kind of now the main act in their background, working for this circus, they're now starting to build into that, where it's like, okay, there's not a lot of money coming in, and they reach out to Pietro one day and it's like, hey, how you doing? How's things been? And he's like, much better. Like, I've been doing some work, and your skills could really come in handy with this if you would be interested in joining it, but you got to keep it on the DL. And so our character's like, yeah, let's do it, let's make some money. And so he jumps in with the Sweep Chimneys. Like a little more ambiguity. Yeah, that's it. It's like he jumps in with them, and it's like, hey, like, we're looking, and you know what, maybe there is, like you just said, moral ambiguity. It's like, okay, hey, look, we are not necessarily just a group that is like, it is crime, but you know, when a nobleman goes out and steals something from steals like a cultural relic from a temple in a faraway land, and it's you know, somebody wants it back, is it necessarily crime to go back and, you know, to take that from the nobleman? I mean, sure, it is, but at the same time, that's the moral high ground, realistically. So I would lean on this character, you know, having those moments of like, what are we stealing for, you know, but just wanting those crazy moments in their life where it's like, oh, I gotta climb this fence, and I gotta walk along the palisade, and I have to avoid detection, and then I have to climb down onto this window, pick this lock, and now get inside and get out without setting off any alarms. And this, I'll tell you what, I loved this. A magic slackline that can anchor itself to a point. That is awesome. Okay, I absolutely loved this. Like the concept of this character being an acrobat and walking a slackline that is magically anchored from one point to another is awesome. All right, so now we are on to more of the DM things. Antagonistic organizations, rivals and enemies, evocative locations, thematic monsters, and plot hooks and story seeds. So antagonistic organizations, we are looking at Fleabag Circus, traveling performers whose show is a distraction for thieves. Oh, okay. All right. So there, yeah, that's 100% our rivals, because they have come to town and are, oh, there's this new traveling circus that's in town, and they are now going in and stealing. And guess who's gonna be confused for them? The sweep chimneys. People have heard about them, you know, this whole concept of a group of thieves that, you know, is constantly whisking away across the rooftops of the city. You know, oh, this Fleabag Circus, oh, that's just giving them an opportunity and giving, it would give them a bad name. So this is awesome. I love this. Okay. Anti-gravity Pale claims to be the greatest of all acrobats, suspected of sabotaging others. Oh, okay. I'm liking this. I want to see the rest of this real quick. An old suspension bridge, long neglected, could go at any minute. Can't beat the classics. Yeah, that is good. Arachnamod. Okay, sorry, I blanked on that. I was like having a stroke or something. An Arachnamod, climbing construct with 8 arms attached in a spider. Okay, so 100% the old suspension bridge is the dwelling place of the Arachnamod. And what are we looking at here at the bottom? Get off of there. There we go. A monster has built its nest high on the wall inside a huge chimney, making it hard to reach. Huh. Interesting. Well, what would have helped me just with like my own site would have been a hyphen. An Arachnamod. Now that I can see it. Yeah. Is that? Yeah, I guess I just never really like paid much attention to the word arachnid to see how it's spelled. But yeah, no, totally. A monster has built its nest high on the wall inside a huge chimney. That plays very well into sweep chimneys. But I don't know if making, oh, you know what, that could also be the arachnamod. You know what, no, here's a great idea. Okay, all right, so these are more of just like moments from the character's past. I think the old suspension bridge is a location where somebody at one time, where a great performer, okay, maybe somebody like Pietro's mentor was performing a stunt where he was doing some kind of acrobatic act on the old suspension bridge, and anti-gravity Bale was there and sabotaged him. What that was, let's say it was the magic slackline. Okay, maybe he had this act where he would, walk this slack line across the old suspension bridge, and what ends up happening? Well, anti-gravity Bale, he casts dispel magic on it, or he casts it in a way that it can't be detected. I don't know actually if dispel magic has a verbal, I imagine it has verbal. Let me check. Dispel magic, it's verbal and somatic. So maybe anti-gravity Bale somehow gets access to like subtle spell, so that he can cast it without being recognized. Maybe he mutters something and doesn't have the somatic or something like that. But you have this other character, and let's just say that it was I don't know. I was gonna say it could be like something like Pietro, but it'd be like third story, and I was like, I don't know if I want to go with that. I don't know, let's just pull up something else. Actually, I really like Auric the Wanderer just as a name. Yeah. I like this. Waltzing Matilda. So Waltzing Matilda was Pietro's mentor. Okay. And Waltzing Matilda taught him what she knows, and while she was out performing, she was doing this slack line where the big posts of the suspension bridge, she had the slack line going across, and she was halfway across when anti-gravity Bale cast dispel magic on the slack line, and it causes her to fall to her death. And it becomes a place of mourning, and it was more of a place of spectacle already. It was something that people weren't using a whole lot, and so that's why there was performances on it, and the acrobats would use it regularly. But ever since she died, they said, it's too dangerous, we're not going to use it, so the suspension bridge goes just on its wayside. Eventually, our character, who's now starting to come up into the whole veil of it all, he is a member of the Sweep Chimneys. The Fleabag Circus shows up with anti-gravity Bale being, the ringleader of it, and all of a sudden, there's now more crime. People have noticed things going missing. So maybe this character's first big story beat is, you know, trying to reveal what they're doing. And I would honestly say that, like, Anti-Gravity Bale being like, he wants to use the old suspension bridge, but I think I'm going to change this. A monster has built its nest. I don't know if I want to do that, actually. Let me rephrase that. The plot, it's the monster. I want the arachnamod to be like having claimed Chimney. Oh, Chimney can be a rock formation. Oh, I didn't know that. I'm learning something new. Huh. Okay, that's actually really sick. Dude, okay, hold on. Let me pull up one of my windows real quick. Where you at? Where are you? Have it down somewhere. Yeah, so for those of you that didn't know, this is a chimney in a natural formation. I didn't know. High on the wall inside a huge oh my god. Oh my god. That's such a cool idea. Oh no, that totally works. The old suspension bridge is built between naturally forming chimneys, and the arachnamod is the monster that built its nest inside the chimney. So the old suspension bridge is where, you know, that's like the pinnacle for our character. And Anti-Gravity Bale comes to town, and he's like, you know, me and my Fleabag circus, we are the greatest. We will be here for a week, and at the end of the week, I plan on doing the craziest, the most greatest act of all. I am going to walk the slack line between the chimneys of the old suspension bridge. And, like, you know, everyone in town's like, oh my god, that's Marwell saying Matilda died, oh my god. And it's like, our character is there, he knows what they're up to. He, you know, the sweep chimneys know what's gonna be going on. But, like, this is what's up, Mayor of the Boomtown? Thanks for the follow. Wow, yeah, like Waluigi. This 100% would be like okay, I'm gonna be real with you here, okay? I love this part of it for the character as a basis, okay? This is the character, okay? They are an acrobat who grew up loving the circus, loving the old troops, watching them all the time, learning how they do their stuff. And when they start getting into it, one of their mentor, Pietro's second story, he eventually leaves the circus life for the more lucrative crime life, working for the sweep chimneys. Our character eventually follows in his footsteps, and we boys have finally weaponized pocket goblins. Oh, Wog, as in Warhammer. Okay. Boys with a Z. You know what? Hold on. Oh, wait, where is it? Where is it? Hold on. I can find it. Oh, damn it. It's down in my car. Shit. I don't have it here. I have purity seals. I literally have I just got them at a convention yesterday. I literally have 3D printed purity seals. They're down in my car. Damn it. Send them to Arizona. So I don't have them in here anymore. But yeah, so I think this is where our main character is going to reside. Okay. He eventually joins the sweep chimneys. He is using his abilities that he learned in his background more for being a rogue. I mean, as much as I would want him to be a swift blade rogue, why is that so big down there? Let's zoom out. Let's reload. And does it? No, that's so weird. I'll tell you what, GM Binder got screwed up with the most recent Chrome update. Absolutely hate it. If you go to try and print it, it puts this weird line in the corner. If you do default, yeah, like this. I don't know what's up with that, but like they screwed something up. Like GM Binder does not like function well with it, and you can see now even that bottom part is just, oh, it's because it's now on two different things. God damn it, now I know why. Okay, anyway, as much as I would want this character to be the Swift Blade, because I wanted him to be like super fast, and maybe that could work. Honestly, the way that I'm building him now in my head, he is going to be more of either a thief or a scout. Scout is really cool because it has it's more about being, hey, you know what, no, actually, no, I'm probably not gonna go scout. If anything, I would probably lean more thief, and that would be because if I lean more into the sweep chimneys, I want that to be, that would be more the thief. But this character, he is gonna be like pining to do the craziest things. Well, he's gonna have lung problems as long as he's with his long time of clean shims. Yeah. I like, his dream is to do the suspension bridge, and he needs to prove that he's the best. Okay, because I think he's been a part of the sweep chimneys for a while, and he's done his thing in the city. All right, he's done his time there in the city. He wants the bigger things. He needs that thing, and so he starts adventuring. Okay, he starts adventuring because he wants to find that thrill. He wants to get those new challenges. And hey, maybe he's not in the same city. Maybe he's not working side by side with Pietro anymore, but there's new opportunities. There's a wealth of world to explore, and there's, you know, more gets to have when you go out and you start seeing what the world has to offer. So maybe he takes with him the name of the sweep chimneys. Maybe he still does work with them and keeps that connection going so that he can continue doing what he needs to do. And I think he is one day going to hear I think one day this down here is I'm talking, you can't even see it. I'm so messed up with everything. I think everything down here is gonna be the DM stuff. I think this is going to be, he knows the Fleabag Circus. He's dealt with them. They've been around once or twice when he was, first starting into that life of being a, of being a young acrobat, and maybe he had an opportunity to join them at one point, but he really didn't want to leave town. He didn't want to go on the travel. But now that he is, one day he gets a letter back from Pietro. Okay, maybe a few levels down the line. It says, the Fleabag Circus is back in town. Anti-Gravity Bale is the ringleader. He's claiming that he is going to do a climb across the old suspension bridge. And let this character be the one that's like, no, that's gonna be me up there. I'm gonna prove to him, because maybe Anti-Gravity Bale sabotaged our character at some point. I mean, we obviously have it written down here that that he sabotaged them at some point. So that in itself is a good enough reason already to want to want to have this character that you can call your rival. So yeah, I would very heavily lean into that, where it's like Anti-Gravity Bale had come around a few other times, and now he's back. He's called out our character. We'll say that he's called out our character before, and made comments about how he's a terrible acrobat, and our character's like, no, like, I'm the greatest there's ever been, and he's just laughing at us. And now it's our opportunity to prove that. It's our opportunity to prove that we are far beyond the average, that we are the greatest. So how does our character prove this? Well, they go and set up at the old suspension bridge. They're the one that does it. But in the process, a monster has built their nest inside one of the chimneys, the Arachnamod. And so what becomes this huge challenge? What becomes this great acrobatic feat? This character having to fight the Arachnamod atop the old suspension bridge in front of everyone. The whole town is going to come over and see, or the whole city is going to come over and see what's going on when this all starts kicking off. All this commotion on over at the old suspension bridge. I mean, I know, in all honesty, like, I'm building this up to be more of like, a big encounter and less of a campaign, but I'll tell you what, in my mind, this is like a movie playing out, of them going back, and I meant to pull it up a minute ago. Which screen would it be? No, it wouldn't be this one. This one needs to go back over here. You go over there. Messing up all my screens in different places. No, not Spider-Man. What? See, when you said Arachnamod, my mind went back to the old Wild Wild West spider that like crawled around in the desert. This is in my mind what has built a nest, and what is creepy crawling around this old suspension bridge? A bunch of little mini ones. And so what are you and your adventuring party doing? Like, that to me is what this is. Because, like, yeah, when I read Arachnamod, I was like, oh, this is like a modified arachnid. But you know what? I'm changing that. Arachnamech. But yeah, I mean, it's a climbing construct. In my mind, this is a giant mechanized spider, but it has its own little mini spiders kind of crawling around the battlefield, and that's who a lot of the players have to fight. You know, that's going to be what's keeping a lot of the players occupied. And what's going to happen is, you know, all of a sudden anti-magic Bale shows up trying to prove that he's this great, you know, person that only he can defeat this. And maybe it plays out where anti-gravity Bale ends up you know, maybe falling, and our character can somehow save him, or he's about to be killed by this thing. And so you have this be like this huge ending scene. And you know what? This doesn't really have to be a huge, long campaign thing. I know we've talked about with a lot of these characters when we made our bounty hunter and our detective, Varric and Rexif. A lot of that was very much like it could have been a long, outstretched campaign. In my mind, this could be like a personal story arc that allows them to evolve a little bit as a character, because maybe it's these moments when they're fighting on the old suspension bridge that really clicks with him of the difference between recklessness and courageous awareness. Okay. And he realizes, you know, where his import needs to be. But I could see this just being like a few sessions of, like, you know, the party might be on some adventures, but they get this letter from Pietro, and this character is like, hey guys, I need to get back to my town. I need to get back to, you know, everyone back home, because I need to handle this, you know, and I need to help my old family. I need to help my family. So the party, you know, drops what they're doing. They go back to this city, and maybe they spend a few sessions investigating the Fleabag Circus. Maybe you have some stuff where you're working with the sweep chimneys to steal stuff back, to spy on the circus and to steal back the stuff that they have stolen and get it back to its rightful owners. Because, I mean, come on, the sweep chimneys would, in my mind, be a part of the Thieves Guild, if not like one of the main like if not like the rooftop faction of the Thieves Guild. So there's honor amongst thieves. You know, you always leave a receipt and you never take more than, you know, the person can afford. So I would say you could have something like that, and then maybe through even that, maybe you don't talk about anti-gravity Bale in the original letter that comes from Pietro. Maybe it's, oh, the Fleabag Circus is in town, and we think they're up to something because things have gone missing. And so your character goes back to help out with that, and you have some friends along with you that are now possibly seasoned adventurers. So what ends up happening? You're spying on them, and you find some plans that anti-gravity Bale is going to do a walk across the old suspension bridge. Well, that's a sacred place for these people in this town, and you think, no, that should be me. So you go up there when he's about to perform, and, you know, or hey, if you really want to like play into like maybe a chaotic, neutral, or evil kind of character, or like, you know, a more nefarious play, maybe you go up and you sabotage the old suspension bridge, so that as he's doing his slackline trick or whatever it is, you know, that would really be up to it. I mean, anti-gravity Bale sounds like it would be something where he's like floating across, but you sabotage it and you cause the bridge to collapse. But in that collapse awakens the arachnamech that has set up inside the chimney. And now what happens? Well, now all these little mechanoid spiders are coming out of this you know, the maybe the old suspension bridge comes down, swings into part of the chimney, breaks a hole in it, and all these little mechanized spiders start coming out of it, and they start attacking the townsfolk. But now your party has their hands full, and they now have to do this. And anti-gravity Bale is out there, and oh, here comes the Arachnamech, a giant climbing construct that's like lumbering over the chimney and starts breathing fire out of this spout. Because if you've never seen the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith, go watch it. But this shoots fire, if I'm not mistaken, and like have that be where your character now has to make the call. You're gonna go, like this character is gonna go and save anti-gravity Bale to prove they are once and for all the greatest of all acrobats. Oh man, I like this. I like this as two separate parts. I love this as the character, where it's like this is who I'm going to play as, and then I want this as like that character's story arc, or that character's like personal, like a more centered story around them. Because the nice thing is, especially if you're basing this on a city or a large town, you're obviously going to have other players with you, so you could have stuff that ties into their backstories or their personal stories spread throughout the town. Maybe the barbarian is looking for somebody, and or maybe you have a bounty hunter in the party who is looking for someone, and they find you know, they're able to go there and talk with some of the sweep chimneys, and they're able to find out some information about them. Or maybe you have a wizard who's trying to track down a magic item, and so obviously the sweep chimneys might have information on that. Or there could be a cleric in the party, and the DM just so happens to wink a temple of that god into the town, so that they can go and talk to the high cleric about something that they have been questioning or that they might need help with. So yeah, I love this. This is, and you know what, I'm gonna you know, again, like, shout my love of this compendium to the world. Okay, this is why I love this compendium. Okay, it can be used to make, it can be used in a way to make a concentrated character that is, you know, like, oh, this, everything happens, everything that I come up with in this happens before the adventure, and all of these things are things that might pop up throughout. Okay, you could come up with stuff where it's like, oh no, this is all stuff that's gonna happen once the adventure has started, like with this one. Okay, you could have ones where it's like, oh, this is a whole campaign idea that can have multiple branching paths, can have multiple adventures and side quests and stories tied within it. You know, the bounty hunter and the Rexif and Varric, the bounty hunter detective that we made, that was like a number of mysteries that could be solved. That was multiple adventures that could happen because it was of a grander scale. They're trying to deal with the cult of Lolth, and I can't remember what it was called. It's like the web of the spider. So they're working, you know, that could be like a huge, you know, multi-month or year-long campaign, but you can also jump into this side of it. And that's why I love the 2-page layout. And I know that's like I love the 2-page layout. The left is more the player backstory, and the right's for me, the DM. This is my part. I love this because you can just take this and make adventures. You can just take these parts, scroll down through here, and just make cool adventures and one-shots and side quests. Like, Okay, we did Animal Whisperer once before. I haven't done Archivist. I do want to do an Archivist. I want to make a wizard Archivist, like a scribe Archivist, scribe wizard Archivist. Oh, so good. Book Mimic. Oh my god, that's awesome. I've never seen that. What? Grow to impersonate bookcase and stories say even. Oh my god. I did have one time an idea of having a tavern that was a mimic and everything inside was a mimic. But just in this, okay? Flea market of many vendors selling antique scrolls, knickknacks, and junk. Okay, there's our location. Our location is taking place at Curio Crossing. Where is this? Is this in a town? Is it in a city? Is it in the middle of a desert that you have to use portals to get to? That would be sick, okay? And so what happens in this one shot? Maybe, okay, elemental who derives joy from burning things. Okay, so let's take, oh, hey, actually here. Sunken Scriptorium, top of tower 6. Okay, love this. I haven't gotten into many compendiums, but I really did enjoy the revised fighter thing from Dave Thompson. We'll have to look at that later. No plot stuff, just some really cool additional stuff for fighters. Nice. We'll take a look at that. You should get into compendiums. Love Murder Rose, by the way. Welcome to the stream. See, you're a first time chatter, so hey, thanks for that. Always love having new folks around. I want to look that up though. I do want to look up Revised Fighter by Dave Thompson. We're gonna look that up in a minute. But you know, this is the awesome thing, because with just these two options, okay, the Sunken Scriptorium and a book mimic, or actually let's go with the Smoldering Mephit. Okay, so here's a one-shot idea. Here's a one-shot idea on this. Just out of these two, your players are heading to a flea market. They're heading to the Curio Crossing. It is a magical flea market, if you will. It's located in a pocket dimension where many mages, archivists of all kinds, librarians, and folks that just love the odd and obscure, especially books, it is where they come and congregate. And what is located here out in this desert, and why is it in this desert? Well, that's because it is held at where the Sunken Scriptorium is buried. It is where you enter into the top of the tower and you can go down, and it has untold levels of books and knowledge and whatnot. But what happens when the party gets there, as they are perusing and looking around, and maybe you give your players the opportunity to buy some odd little items that maybe have like a one-time use charge magic item. Oh, I don't know, something like a lunar quill, or the Tome of Tongues, or archival tags, or literally anything on the magic item and meaningful objects list, because again, they're right there in the same book that we're working on. You know, Chameleon Canvas, Acme Brush. Oh, that's actually really sick. The Acme Brush. A door painted with this becomes real, but only for a short time. I see what you did there. I too like Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. So the players go to the Curio Crossing located at the Sunken Scriptorium, and as they're going around and they're talking with some folks, screams and mayhem occur. What is going on? Well, there is smoke coming from the Sunken Scriptorium. People are coming out yelling and screaming, saying that there is a fire raging on one of the levels. So what happens? Well, obviously, you're adventurers. You're going to go in there and you are going to go and stop this. And what are you going to find? Well, very easy. You could find literally all of these. Okay. There are smoldering methods. Also, I like smoldering method. I don't know why that's really cool to me, of like a combination of a lava method and a smoke method. I just like that. I like that concept idea. But you have smoldering methods that are burning the pages that you have to stop them. Maybe on another level, tiny drakes who breed inside books and consume papers. Okay. Maybe one of the things that happens is you're on a level, there's all these papers strewn about, and as you go over, one of them opens up and it's these little drakes that come out. Papyrophage, that's just a really cool word. And also eating, meaning devouring words and excreting empty symbols onto pages. I love this. Also, the book mimic is just already great. Ink Kraken, many tentacled sea monster who can release a cloud of magical darkness. And Zalmora, a wizard bound this demon to a book. Okay, so there's our main antagonist. Zalmora is a demon who's bound in a book. And guess what some schmuck did down on the lower level where this book was located? They opened it, they read the words they weren't supposed to, and guess whose spirit is now running amok? Zalmora. And what did they do? Well, they unleashed smoldering methods. They unleashed the Ink Kraken and the bookworm, and maybe a book mimic, but I think book mimic should be its own thing. But I mean, it's still cool. But that's just a one shot right there. Okay, that right there is just a one shot that only uses these two columns. And sure, it's the idea, and now you have to get into the mechanics of it. But isn't that what we love as a DM? I mean, making maps based on different levels of a library, in my mind it's circular. I don't know why, but like the Sunken Scriptorium in my mind is circular. But so like you look up pictures of wizards towers, and you find those, you find circular wizard towers, and you get a bunch of different levels. Okay, put some monsters on them. Maybe some of the levels, instead of having monsters, just have traps. Okay, maybe there are some where you're not supposed to be there. Wait, not gonna lie, it bothers me they call it papyrophage. What is anaphobula? What is that? What's it when two words get combined? Portmanteau. What is that a portmanteau of? I need to know, love, murder, Rose. Wait, why do I know there's a word there that oh, okay. Anaphibula, like fabulous. Ana meaning anti, fibula meaning the arrangement. Oh, it's a creature that consumes stories. Well, Rose, just so you know, we can just change that name, and that's a sick way to play off of it. I mean, I'm all for that. Also, I love that you could make just an NPC named Anaphibula. Yes, there he is. Yes, for reference, Ardot Doyle there in the chat is the man, the myth, the legend, the one who made the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation. So that's awesome. That's a sick name. I love that play on words. That's what I love. I love plays on words. Like, it's so good whenever you come up with something like that. I love that. That's so smart. And it's also super thematic too. Oh, that's awesome. The BBG in a campaign I played was a literal anaphobula, and the DM revealed that the time skips in the campaign were what? That's smart. Oh, that's smart. I like that idea. Oh, anaphobula is also an SCP. An SCP creation. SCP-2747 is the anaphobula as well, so there's another thing. That's awesome. No, I love the fact that the DM utilize an in-game mechanic like that to address time skips. I'm not that creative, and my time skip was the cult going into the elemental planes of chaos and being like, we're gonna go get stronger, and my party's like, oh no. I don't know how my party reacted. I mean, I think my party was very much distraught because one of their little goblin friends had died, but I think in their minds they were like, we know why you're doing this. You told us about a time skip a long time ago, like almost a year and a half ago. Yeah, that's really cool. I like that name, anaphobula. That's sick. Yeah, let's use it. We'll have two of them. One, it'll yeah, there would be a big one in my mind. It's anaphobula. Oh no, you know what, here's an awesome idea. Zalmora doing a lot of things, but on one of the levels you have a wizard named anaphobula, and she is controlling a bunch of the papyrophages. Apparently saying a song, what you use time to eliminate. Wait, what? Yeah, those characters they just did and didn't exist. Yeah, I did use time to erase two characters entirely. Not entirely though. Remember, there are weird memories that happened, and yeah, no, Jace had to get involved, the ruler of time. Don't like when I have to DM handwave and, you know, Deus Ex Machina, that stuff. I always like when it has something that I can tie in game, and back then I just wasn't that creative. So yeah, don't like doing that now. Now I do stuff where it's like, oh hey, you need to go to another plane of existence for a little while, much like we did with Zach and Nylor, where it's like, oh hey, you need to go to the Shadowfell because there's shit going on there. Because that's fun. Yeah, so all right, man, I made this acrobat. I really like this. All right, so we have, I do want to save that. Let's make sure I save it. Yes, all the pings. You need to go another plane while the hidden cosmic janitors. Yeah, that's it. We need to clean this place up. All right. How are you gonna place him in as an NPC? How am I gonna place who in as an NPC? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Are you talking about the acrobat? Or are you talking about the cultist? Because we're gonna make a cultist. Yeah, we're making a cultist. Which means I need my dice roller. Cults are fun. They're great. Name one bad. Name one bad cult. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? Oh, didn't mean to move you. Let's grab you instead. Oh, I can't move you, that's why. Goes that back there. Also, this should be there. And let's make you a little bit smaller. All right. There we go. So, oh, that got messed up. All right. We're going to roll some dice here first. And what are we rolling? As you can see, it's right here on the left of the guide. So, D20, D12, D8, D4, D6, and D10. That's one of everything, and then we need some extra D6s and a D20. There we go. There's our numbers. So let's put that let's get these nice and ready. There we go. Hey, perfect. Right there. So cultist. Now keep in mind, this one I've made a bunch of these characters as PCs. I want to make this character more as an NPC. And I obviously have not seen what we have rolled through and like what we're working with, but I would like to see this character be somebody that could either be a member of a cult that the party encounters, that could either be a ally or an enemy, or could be a cult leader and be a big bad. We'll have to see what we're coming up with. We'll have to see what's available, and we'll go from there. All right, so D20, we got an 8 to continue. So the drive and dream and the character motivation is to continue the cult's traditions and rituals. That's already starting off on a positive note, because that means that they are dedicated to whatever their cult is. All right, Catalyst, the call to adventure is a 7. The deity suddenly stopped communicating. Oh, okay. So the deity stopped communicating, yet this character believes that we need to continue these rituals. We still need to continue the traditions. Doesn't matter that the deity, it doesn't matter that we can't hear them, that we can't communicate. We have to continue. We have to show that we love and respect them. We are still the followers. Okay. Transformation growth. Mindless follower to thoughtful leader. That's super appropriate. Now, here's the thing. That is something that I think can maybe happen in the background of this character. And if this character is going to become a big bad, if we eventually develop him into a big bad, maybe the players see him as the thoughtful, I hit the button. They see him as the thoughtful leader instead of seeing him as the mindless follower. Maybe he realizes everything that's going on and knows that he still needs to keep pushing forward. Okay, so on to our fourth friendly factions. We got a 1, the Veil Piercers, a faux secret club of wealthy collectors of the occult and esoteric. Interesting. A faux secret club. So this is a secret club that's not so secret. So basically, there's a group of wealthy collectors that collect the strange, the occult, and the esoteric, but kind of everyone knows. And this is a really good friendly faction for this character, because maybe this is where they get the relics that they use in their rituals and in their traditions. But this from a DM perspective, I'm seeing the Veil Piercers as somebody that might be manipulated by the players. The Veil Piercers could be somebody where it's like, you know, oh yes, I am Master Themberin, and I am a part of the Veil Piercers, and I can help you find something. We collect the most strange and obscure. And like the party is like, hey, we're looking for this stuff relating to this cult, and it's like, oh, there's a member amongst our ranks that is interested in that as you are, and like let that play into how the players find out information. You know, it gives them a potentially friendly and unfriendly faction, but gives this NPC somebody that they can lean on for their resources. All right, assets and allies. We have a 4, Brev Fiore, ostracized member who became a that is so good. Ostracized member of what? Of the Veil Piercers. Guess what, guys? Brev showed up today. You know what he has? Another skull. It's like, hey, Brev, look, we get it. You really like the macabre. You really like to go and, you know, find old skeletons. And yeah, we don't know who they belong to, but that's a bit weird. So this guy is ostracized, becomes a gravedigger, and maybe becomes a necromancer. Okay, maybe his whole thing is that he's always liked them because maybe this character had some connection with the dead and utilized that and could understand the dead. Maybe had like a very minor non-mechanical way to, you know, speak to undead without like getting full details. Maybe like hearing whispers as they are hunting and looking through temples and grave sites, and oh, they hear a whisper, it leads them to a skull, and you know and then from there they learn necromancy. This could be an ally of the cult because the whispers of the dead can tell the tales of the deities and of times forgotten. So maybe our NPC leader reaches out to Brev and is like, I need your help in finding the old followers of my deity, whoever this deity is. We haven't even gotten into that yet. So I like that. Also, I want to touch on in my Phandalin 5 campaign, I have a necromancer character named Breen, and I love the fact that this is Brev. It's Breen and Brev. So that was just a little funny thing for me. Magic items and meaningful objects. We rolled a 5. Hallowed Grimoire adds a +1 to all spells cast within the deity's command, school, or type. Interesting. Okay. So I'm gonna say right now, Brev Fiore is going to maybe be a bit of a lieutenant for this cult leader. Okay. And honestly, I think we already have more information about Brev Fiore than we have the cult leader, but I like the idea that he's like a necromancer, and so he's maybe worshiping somebody like no, I wanted to say Ilmater, but I think Ilmater is wrong. Ilmater is the god of suffering. Who would it be? It could be Shamash. I think Shamash is one of the gods from Dragonlance. Yeah. That would have been Dragonlance knowledge that I could have known at that convention this weekend. Funny enough, I actually have I played a character who worshipped Shamash, the master of the undead, and in fact I see it. Hold on, let me go look. I actually have a spell book here. Oh yeah, there we go. Spell book with the symbol of Shamash, a gold skull. And this is a dice rolling box that I got from Elderwood Academy a long time ago. And right now I have 4 gold coins and a purple piece of yarn. 5 gold coins and a purple piece. I don't know why I have 5 gold coins and a purple piece of yarn, but it means something. It means something. It means something to someone. You know what? This is the Hollowed Grimoire right now. Actually, this is Necromancy Volume 11. Because I started playing my Necromancer at level 11. See who this book was made for. His name was Adley Avde. And he was cool. Okay? His name was not Avocado, as my wife wants to say. His name was I put it in the chat. That was his name. It was Adley Avde. And that is the words alive and dead intermingled. Yeah. I played him for like 3 sessions and then I just realized like, oh, I don't like playing a necromancer, or at least I didn't know how to play a necromancer. And then I played a Sun Soul monk named Sun Gokura. He was a little bit cooler. Okay. So let's see what else we got here. All right. So now we are on to antagonistic organizations. Now, being that we're developing an NPC, I'm leaning kind of into the antagonistic organizations and the rivals. I'm kind of leaning into these being maybe more based around who our character actually is. Okay, this is part of who I'm thinking our character might be. So who do we have? We have 4 zealous promoters of their own strict oh yes. Okay, so the antagonistic organization is the Inquisitive Eye, zealous promoters of their own strict interpretation of their deity's will. In my mind, our character is a cult leader who stopped hearing the voice of his god, of whoever the cult follows. And they are trying to keep everyone they're trying to keep everyone in the cult on board with everything that's going on, and it's getting harder and harder. And so what happens? Well, they look towards the Inquisitive Eye. Okay, they find out that there's a group out there worshiping the same deity, and they reach out to them to help strengthen not only their resolve, but maybe to like dig into it. So their whole thing is that they're going even stricter. And why is that? Who's maybe this leader? Okay, we rolled a 6. We got Scarla Thorn, exiled cult member seeking revenge on those. Okay, so here's something. We now have an exiled cult member that wants to seek revenge on those who ostracized her. Well, who ostracized her? This cult might be a little bit bigger than I initially thought. Maybe this cult has a bunch of different factions. Okay, and our cult leader, our character, I mean, realistically, we could, like, our character could be right here. This is our character. This is our cult. Our cultist. Scarla Thorn is our cultist. I was thinking antagonistic organization would be the ones that put the call. That is true. You could do that. And that's honestly why I'm kind of like leaning into, I'm like trying to utilize this more away from the party than anything else. But 100% that could be the case. Like, I would honestly lean, if I was going to do that, I would lean at the Crimson Crusade being the antagonistic organization that actually hires the party to go after him. That's what I would do. And Matron Pietra would be the leader of the Crimson Crusade. And that's like the party side of things, where, okay, they follow a different god. Maybe this cult worships, I don't know. I'm gonna go basic, and we're gonna say that they worship Mask. Okay. So, and then you have the Crimson Crusade, which is a I don't want to say bloody, but you know, it's maybe they're a cult that worships Lathander, or no, the Crimson Crusade is a cult that worships Saloon, the Moon Maiden, but here's the thing, they worship the Blood Moon. They worship not Our Lady of Silver, but Our Lady of Crimson. The moon reveals what happens in the night. The moon reveals the secrets that are beheld in shadows. But the Blood Moon bathes the world in red, so that blood may hide, so that the will of necessity can exceed, or can exude into what we need. And Matron Pietra, well, obviously, if you know, Mask is the god of shadows and thieves, and he is the lord of all that happens in the shadows, and his main rival is Saloon. So to have the party aspect of this, there are only a couple blood moon. Well, so I mean, I don't even know if there's blood moons in D&D. Or let's Google that. Are there blood moons in D&D? I mean, let's be real here. You can just say yes as a DM, that it like happens, you know, so many times. You know, that's the beautiful thing about it. Funny enough, I actually did know this little bit of information. I looked up Blood Moon, and it's a tribe of orcs. The Blood Moon tribe. I've actually looked up different orcs, and that was one of them. Here it is. Oh wait, actually, I've looked this one up before. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I always get excited whenever I look up lore, and I'm like, oh yay, I have already looked into this before, because that is like my whole life outside of anything else, is I look up D&D lore. But here, wait, let's pull this up real quick. Wait, where is it? Is it under you? Nope, that was you. So under you? No, where is it? That's the acrobat. That's that. Oh, I don't know what that's trying to put here. There. Okay. So this Night of the Blood Moon. This is when Malorite lycanthropes. Yeah, they attacked a city. Okay, I looked this up one time because I was looking more into Malar, the Beast Lord, and I found this. I found a little bit of this information. It was like one of the fun ones, because Mialiki's always been a fun one for me. In fact, one of my players in my library game is now wanting to worship Mialiki because they are a forest gnome, and they want to reconnect to their deity that they used to have. But yeah, so 100%, like, you can have blood moons. Also, you could go super thematic about it and just say like, oh, blood moons are the result of, you know, murder done in Oh, that's actually a sick thought that just came to mind. A blood moon occurs when an assault in the name of Saloon is carried out by devout followers. The more red the moon is, the more grievous the assault. Yeah, I'd be okay with that. Something like that would be really cool. But I mean, honestly, like I said, the Crimson Crusade led by Matron Pietra, that right there is your, you know, they're a small sect of Selenite worshippers that worship the dark necessities that happen in the moonlight. Okay, you know, everyone loves Saloon because, you know, oh yay, beauty, purity, love and marriage, you know, like helping those that can't find their way because we are the moon. But like, she's also the god of good lycanthropes, but guess what, there's a lot of bad lycanthropes out there. Okay, so the Crimson Crusade, oh shit, I think I just figured it out. Okay, sorry. The Crimson Crusade might be a sect of Selenite worshippers that hunts down evil lycanthropes. Yeah, I like that. Motherly figure of a rival cult with dark undertones but sweet promises. We will murder every beast creature that sets foot onto this plane. We will bathe the night in the crimson blood of your horrid forms. And then you have, like, you know, the Malorite, you have the Malorite lycanthropes that are out there fighting this. And honestly, you could have this cult be a worshiper of Malar. I mean, right here, like our character, our cult NPC could be a cult leader that worships the Beast Lord, and that could be like one of their big things. Is, I mean, lycanthropes worship Malar, so it is very understandable that it's very understandable that you would have like smaller cults. And so this character might be, say, a werewolf or a werebear, or a wereboar, or literally a were anything. You know, you could play that up however you wanted to do it as a DM. But what happens? Well, suddenly they stop hearing the call of Malar. And why? Okay, maybe they moved up through the ranks. Maybe they became a werewolf. We'll just say a werewolf. Maybe they became a werewolf through an incident. Okay, and they started following the teachings of Malar because it was, you know, somebody that recognized their lycanthropy brought them in. The Call of the Wild, yeah. So they followed this cult and they did horrific things, but they at some point within this organization, there was maybe a bisection that happened. Okay, there were those that it was more like, we are more the wild. Okay, we are the untamed. We are those that can call the world our own through our actions, and we will leave we will leave, you know, no stragglers. And that is one sect. And then you have the other sect that is the Inquisitive Eye, which is more about the rituals, which is more about the dogmatic aspects, the holy nights. You know, this is where you have maybe some more options of coming up with your own rituals as a DM of like, we are to follow these. And what happens? Okay, what happens eventually? They stop hearing the call of Malar. They stop hearing the call of the wild. And why? Well, let's be real. The dogma of Malar is that followers of Malar, when I'm reading this verbatim, believed it was an honor to Malar to make one's killing bloody and long. Well, maybe this part of the cult has it wrong. Maybe it is the call of the wild, or you know, those who, you know, those who went out to take on this world and really live that beast life. Maybe they're the ones that have it right. But this cult leader is wanting to stick with these traditions. They're wanting to lead this group out. You know what? Let's actually, I know we have drives and dreams, but I'm gonna replace this. I'm replacing this. I honestly think 6 is better for what we are. Oh wait, why did that copy weird? Oh, that's weird. I think this is gonna work so much better. So what happens? Well, suddenly, not only do they have to worry about the Crimson Crusade and the Adventuring Party and Matron Pietra, this character was a member of the Inquisitive Eye, who has a very strict interpretation of the deity's will. And what happened? This cult leader, Scarla Thorne, finds out, or she suddenly stops hearing those. She was the one that was like ostracized from those that wanted the call of the wild. To her, you know, that inquisitive eye, that like, let's look at this, let's look at the rituals that we're doing, let's involve ourselves, let's get it on a deeper level. Where the others are just like barbarians and oh, they're bathing themselves in blood. So she has started to lose that focus. And our cult leader, our soon-to-be cult leader, realizes this. So what do? They start to pull some of those cultists aside. They tell them, Scarla can no longer hear the call of Malar. We must join the others. We must answer the call of the wild. So this becomes the antagonistic organization for this cultist. This maybe becomes a potential ally of the party. Okay? And so what happens? Well, the Veil Piercers are somebody that's more into the esoteric. So and the occult, well, maybe they know the rituals, and we still lean on Brev, because let's be honest, if there's a group of werewolves out there basically killing people, that's going to fill graves a little bit faster. Okay, that's going to fill graves a lot faster. Let's look at the last couple things that we have here. We have the evocative location, the thematic monsters, and the plot hook. So we're still building this. All right, evocative location is the Shattered Isle, a mythical location of lost city that disaster befell. Nope, I'm switching that. I love this one. Barrow Hill, desecrated burial site teeming with relics and ancient undead. Guess who is the grave digger there? That's right, Brev Fiore. Okay, this is a place where there is all kinds of magic going on, and maybe is a ritual site where the Inquisitive Eye performs their duties. Maybe Brev has no alignment or no, has no care of who he benefits or who he befalls. You know, all that he cares about is that dead are delivered to him. So whether it's through ritualistic rites, or whether it's through the call of the wild out there just killing, he doesn't really care. But he, you know, he'll go with whoever provides him with dead. Anti-paladin, sick. I love anti-paladins. I love that as like a character archetype. I'm leaning more towards Shadow Beast. Dark creatures summoned to serve for one day, then feral and free. What is more beast lord than that? Okay, shadowy beasts that suddenly appear and then they go feral into the world. That's fucking awesome. All right, now we are on to plot hooks and story seeds. We had 5 dreams, visions featuring the culture. There we go. This is perfect. All right, so what happens? We're building an NPC, by the way. So we need to think about how this is going to build, how this character and what we have just rolled up here leads to adventure for the party, and how this character can support, you know, an adventure. So what is the main issue here in this world? Well, I think we go with what we came up with about the Crimson Crusade. And by the way, I might just make a whole like wiki thing for the Crimson Crusade and Matron Pietra, because I fucking love that idea of like a of like a chaotic neutral faction of Selenite worshippers. That whole thing just fucking awesome to me. So this character starts getting dreams and visions. Maybe I shouldn't have put that so far down to the bottom. I just don't like how that does that. I shouldn't have to worry about that. So this character starts having dreams and visions featuring Malar being dreams and visions featuring the cult begin disturbing. Yeah, so all of a sudden everyone starts having these dreams, but maybe they're very vivid for our cult leader. And so what happens? Well, he goes to his cult leader at the time. He goes to Scarla Thorn, and he's like, I'm having these strange dreams. We all are, but everyone says that mine are different. There's something about them. And she says it is nothing. She says Malar will reveal his secrets to us in time. We must be faithful. We must seek the strictest interpretation. We must stick to the tenets that Malar teaches us through and through for what it is. I mean, let's look up what the dogmatic teachings of Malar is. While forbidden to slay the young or the pregnant, hunts typically followed his dogma and evoked wanton slaughter in Malar's name. So there we go, just like pure slaughter. The high hunt ritual was a vicious hunt in which a captured humanoid was released and for the next day and night attempted to escape the prowling worshippers of the Beast Lord. If they managed to survive, they won their freedom as well as perhaps other things. The Feast of Stag's Day made Malar's worship more tolerable in certain areas. For this event, all people were invited to partake of the bounty of the hunt, regardless of faith. At this time, priests of Malar chose some widows, orphans, elderly, or infirm citizens and promised to provide meat for their tables for the winter. Oh, that's actually pretty sick. Good for them. Yeah, I would say something like the high hunt, where, you know, you are set out into into the wild. This is more there. The inquisitive eye is more about just the high hunt, not this wild abandoned of going out and spreading lycanthropy. Okay, so what ends up happening? Well, these shadow beasts start appearing. Okay, they appear in their dreams, and they appear when in the dark, and they are serving this ritual. They're doing these high hunts all the time, and they're doing it to the word that it is. But eventually it seems like Scarla is losing it, and there's rumors, Brev makes comments about how, she seeks more and more resources to do her rituals because something oh man, have a good night, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. Also, just welcome anytime. Of course. No, thank you. This is believe me, this is your project, and I'm just here to bask in its glory because it is so good. So thanks again, Ryan. We'll see you later. Yeah, so, and I think with the way that the players would tie in with this, so looking at this from the DM perspective and having the players tie into this some way, somehow, the characters would have to have some tie-in with maybe rampant lycanthropy attacks. Lycanthropes are just attacking more and more more and more common nowadays, and there has to be something behind it. It's happening more and more, and what is it? So maybe the players, you could do this as like a campaign setup where it's like the players go out and they start doing a couple small adventures, and they're finding more and more detail or more and more clues that it's leading to lycanthropes. Okay, so that eventually might lead them into the path of, or if you plant the seeds well enough, lead them into the temple of the Crimson Crusade. Okay, this group of Selenite worshippers that worship the blood moon. So they have a prophecy of wiping out all evil lycanthropes. That's the prophecy of destruction that we have listed over here. So that in itself is what that's where the players might come in. Now, Matron Pietra, who is the leader of the Crimson Crusade, she basically becomes the party's patron. Okay, she's the one who sends them out on quests, who provides them with resources, that is their connection point to the adventure and the campaign at large. So that right there is the player's main side of it. So our cult leader, though, he is trying to build up this, he is trying to take all of these wild, feral lycanthropes that are out there running amok, that have no course, that have no direction. And you know what he wants to do? He wants to bring them together. While he appreciates what they're doing and he thinks that they need to go out and kill, he thinks it's too random and sporadic, and that if they want to be the ones that can hear the voice of Malar once again, that they need to then, fight back against the other cultists, against the Inquisitive Eye, against these more, ritual and rite practitioners, who is led by Scarla Thorne, who herself feels that, she is, where maybe instead of it being exiled cult member seeking revenge on those who ostracized her, we have that being, that Scarla Thorne wants revenge on the cult members that abandoned her. I just love how this ended up being about lycanthropy, considering one of the most recent messages in Kel's Corner. What was said over in the Discord? Did I miss something about lycanthropy? I don't know. If I missed something about lycanthropy, let me know. Oh, wait, actually, there it is. Nacho said it. Side question, has anyone introduced lycanthropy into their game? Oh. Yes. Oh. Yepers. Oh, had a monk contract it and was cursed. Had a monk contract it. No, he wasn't a monk. He was a rogue. Had a rogue contract it from a were-rat. The party went on a minor quest to retrieve some supplies to have the were-rat leader cure him. Yay. Yeah, so I have introduced lycanthropy, and I like lycanthropy because I think it's cool. I also think it's one of those things where it adds a really interesting mechanic, especially if one of your players contracts it. So I'm up for that. All right, so yeah, I would lean on this campaign being where the players are working with the Crimson Crusade. Matron Pietra is their Matron Pietra is their patron, and she is out there wanting to kill all of these lycanthropes, and our cult leader has gone through the process of, you know, is wanting to basically bring together all these chaotic lycanthropes. He wants to keep it, you know, the call of the wild. He wants them to be out there killing and hunting and whatnot. He wants to move away from that dogmatic approach. He wants to move away from those strict interpretations. This is where the party plays in, because the party can make an ally of Scarlet Thorn if she ends up recognizing the party and what they're doing, and basically come to the party and say, look, I am a lycanthrope, it is true, but I do not go out and hunt and kill mercilessly. I do my rituals. We do the high hunt. We find those of peak physical fitness and we hunt them. We are not mindless killers. We are not trying to rend this world anew. We want to worship our God and show our devotion in the strictest of rituals. So the party says, okay, fine, we'll work with you for a bit. Give us the knowledge, help us find them, help us track them down. Who do you know? Oh, well, I know Brev Fiore. He's a gravedigger, and I know that their cult provides him with the dead. You may also speak with the Veil Piercers, as they are collectors of the strange and esoteric. And while they have provided me with many a ritual objects, they might know some information about your wandering cult. I think that's it. I think this is how this particular build is done. We have basically put together the basis of a small campaign. And I would even say this could be like a module, pretty much. You know, this could be like this could be a module where The party is hot. The party is like you started out where the party is doing like a small quest. They find some details of lycanthropy or some clues of it. If they don't pick up on it, then a member of the Crimson Crusade shows up and is like, you know, hey, if you're, you know, you seem strong enough, you seem willing, you might be able to help us with this. Or even just start the module where the party has already done those things and they are going to meet with Matron Pietra. If you're not playing it into a bigger campaign. And so from there, you then send the players out hunting, out looking for the Inquisitive Eye, hunting down Scarlet Thorn. People going missing would be it. Like, oh, you know, our best farmhand went missing. And so that plays into it. So. But yeah, so yeah, this was a long one. Cultist, gotta save this. So yeah, I haven't like fully fleshed out his name or anything, but honestly, could do anything. Like, he's obviously a werewolf or a werebear or something, but like really be anything else. He could be an elf, he could be a human, he could be an orc, be a halfling, a dwarf, doesn't matter. Yeah, that's sick. All right, well, I'm not gonna lie, it's fairly late. I gotta, where did I put that? There it is. Yeah, so anybody can be a cult leader. That's true. That's true. Anybody can be a cult leader. All right. So, to those of you still hanging out, watching the VOD after the fact, if you are, thank you for watching after the fact. God, I love this. I love this art of like these two pages that come back to back. That's so cool. So, here's the thing. I love talking about this book because I think it's really good. I think what Rhino at Verdigris Table is doing is awesome. I cannot wait to see more of this as time ticks on. I'm going to put the link in the chat once again. If you didn't get a chance, go check out the Kickstarter. Back it. You don't even have to, if maybe you just want to help them out, okay? You know, you can back it without a reward, but to keep in mind, there are two levels that you can back it at, okay? There is the Compendium. It's a PDF for $20, okay? The estimated delivery is April of next year, April of 2024, okay? It's $20. You get the PDF with that. Plus, you get a discount for on-demand printing. Okay, if you don't know what, or sorry, print on demand. If you don't know what print on demand is, basically that is that instead of, and this is a super smart choice of him to do. Instead of him getting a bunch of books published and then having to then ship them out and possibly sitting on a bunch of books that maybe didn't get fulfilled, you're gonna get the PDF, and then if you want a book, you can get that code to go to One Bookshelf's, I think is who he's working through. Yes, One Bookshelf, which is the all over like everything that runs Drive Through RPG, the DM's Guild, Dungeon Masters Guild, but they're also like, you know, Drive Through Fiction, comics, cards, the War Game Vault. So this is all going to be put through probably through Drive Through RPG. So you can get a physical book of it. I'm 100% getting a physical book of this because I might honestly get a couple, because if I'm having players sitting down at a table making characters, I want to have a couple of these to spread around. But there is also the producer tier. I'm going to be very clear and apparent. I have backed this at the producer tier. That one is $50. It gives you your name in the book, and you also get to suggest an NPC to be included in the compendium. So that is what you get. So $20, you get the PDF, and you get a discount on print on demand whenever that becomes available, which like I said is next year, April 2024. $50 gets you not only the PDF and the print on demand discount, but also gets you your name in the book, as well as the ability to suggest an NPC to be included in the compendium. Honestly, I think if I'm including anybody, if I get the chance, it might be Lakis Powalski. Maybe. I don't know. I have yet to think about it too much. But please go out and check this out. I cannot express how much I want to see this project succeed and become more amazing than it is. And there are new stretch goals already put in. We've already hit stretch goals. In fact, one that was just updated now that it hit $2,000. And by the way, we actually, I just realized I just updated. In the last 3 hours, there has been $130 on top of that. So $69 away from the third stretch goal, just an FYI, which is the 100 PC and NPC personality traits. Then after that, at $3,000, it is 100 ways to drop info hooks and etc. So there you go. If that sounds interesting enough to you, head over to the Kickstarter, check it out, back it, support Ryan. He's a good guy doing awesome work. And also go check out his YouTube channel. Come on, like what are you doing? Why aren't you over there like watching all of his videos? Okay, look at this. He's got his own books on there, but he did a review of Phandelver and Below the Shattered Obelisk, for which I actually just got a collector's edition of that. I'm super happy. Yeah, go check out his videos. He's got awesome stuff. That's why I started watching him, and that's why you should start watching him. Just saying. All right, we're gonna divert a little bit. I'm gonna get off my soapbox for a while, as one might say, and I gotta reset my windows. My windows are all messed up. 1 second to redo this. Whew. He's just looking rough. All right, I think we're gonna copy that, paste that. And then this, we're gonna copy and paste that. And then we're gonna move it over to here. It's gonna be a little bit bigger. There we go. I think that's fine. Also, I just can't see that stuff because it's so zoomed out. All right. Yeah, there it is again. Right, put that there. Alrighty then. So I did want to answer some of the questions that were asked over in the Discord before we end it off, because we have been going for about 3 hours now. It's about 1 a.m. I am very tired. But we're still gonna kick around here for a bit. I'm gonna leave this up. We were refreshing this page every now and again to see if anybody else backs it. We'll see. All right, but yeah, Stacy had asked a couple questions over in the Discord, which I know I haven't hawked yet, but if you are curious about that, there's the link above me. If you can zoom in on that and type that in, more power to you. But to make your life easier, you can also click the Discord button below the stream. It's just right down there. I think it's like right there, maybe, I don't know, depending on what you have, the mobile device or whatnot. But you can click the Discord, you can click the about button below me, and then click the Discord link in there. That'll send you over to Kel's Corner, where you can sit, where it's actually pretty warm because it's usually 90 degrees. But you can hang out in there. There's lots of folks chatting and talking, sharing some cool homebrews, some D&D video game stuff. That's where I posted my most recent homebrew of the Swiftblade Rogue, but also other folks are sharing out some cool homebrew. For example, one of the folks over there, Bibble, has shared a really cool homebrew race called the Herbsin. It's basically like plant folk and vegetable people. This is actually a really cool character right here who is a pepper barbarian. You get some pretty sick abilities where you don't need to eat, you just need sunlight. You can speak limitedly to plants, but you can also up here, rooted magic, you can cast Druidcraft, Entangle, and Bark Skin. So it kind of works like the elf abilities and some of the like Ganassi abilities. So yeah, a really cool like vegetable folk that's not really something that we had here in D&D. So this is some nice little flavor, and it's also kind of open depending on how you want to do it. You know, you could be medium or small. You can be from 2 foot to 8 foot and ranging from 30 to 320 pounds. It's all kinds of stuff. So yeah, go and check this out if you're interested in that stuff. Also, a lot of the PDFs and documents that I often talk about are available over there in a channel called the Archives. There's a D&D books folder that you can find a lot of the stuff that I reference in there that is my gift to you, because you can read it from there. So I let you borrow it for a bit. That's what D&D is all about, right? I mean, come on, sharing resources. It's like me letting you my book. You can't have my Fandover book because I just got this and I like it and I want to run it someday. But we have some questions, and before my delirium fully kicks in, we're gonna try and answer them. So where was it? Here it is. So Stacy said, I was thinking some topics for D&D and chill could be based on some of the stuff that went on at the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo. That's right, I mentioned this earlier. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Gaming Expo occurred this weekend, and it was lots of fun. And I got to meet Ryan, and I got to meet Bob and Grace from Bob World Builder, and some other cool folks, Baron from Dungeon Masterpiece, and lots of good times and good people. I got a pretzel. That was good. Yeah, I got a pretzel. I like pretzels. That was the highlight of my day, was pretzels, nothing else. Just the pretzel. But one of the things that was brought up that Stacy had mentioned was in relation to skill checks in general. So Baron mentioned in a panel that they were talking about, it was regarding about how to implement video game mechanics into the tabletop RPG, and it was this idea about mini-gamifying the certain skill checks. One of the examples that he provided, and he mentioned he did a video on this, so I'm sure if you go check out the Dungeon Masterpiece YouTube channel, I'm sure that you will find it. If you don't, just keep watching his videos until you do. By the way, here we are. I will post this in the chat just so if you are curious, you can go and check him out, his videos, and what he's doing over there. Faerun Geopolitics. I actually do want to watch that now. It's only 20 minutes. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to do that later when I'm laying in bed bothering my wife. So one of the things that he suggested was that instead of just simply having your players roll a d20 to do like a lock picking skill check, you can mini game it in a way where you have them roll d6s, and it's 2d6 for every 5 levels of the DC. So basically, if the DC to pick the lock was a 16, you would have them roll 6d6, and the only goal is that you don't roll a 1. If you do, it's a fail. Now, the cool thing about this is that it does give you more opportunities to succeed, but obviously with more dice and the harder the difficulty, the more chances you have to fail. But the other thing that's cool about it is that you can have varying degrees of failure. So if you fail by 1 die, if you roll 6 dice and you have 1 that comes up a 1, maybe it's that your lockpick gets stuck or your lockpick breaks and is jammed inside. Okay, you can try and resolve that. It'll take you some time, but it's not the end of the world. You could have it that the failure occurs because maybe there was a trap on the inside of it and it has been triggered, or not only do you break it off in there, but you also jam it, so now the door is stuck. So I do like that. And just for an example, I am going to roll 66 just to see what it would roll. So there we go. I picked the lock, no issue. Picked it again, there's a failure. Now here's the thing, this is not a foreign concept to me. When he brought this up, I sat back and nodded, and he even recognized it because he said that other people have mentioned this to him before, that they've seen it in other systems, and that's super true because it's very similar to the whole mechanic of this book. Easy D6. Easy D6 is a fantasy RPG, or is a fantasy tabletop RPG where you roll d6s and your goal is to not roll 1s and 2s and stuff. Now, yes, the pass fail mechanic on what Baron was suggesting is a little bit more cut and dry, but in Easy D6, the way that you do stuff is by rolling a 6-sided die and comparing it. Oh god, you know what, hold on, I have a PDF version. It's gonna be so much easier. I don't know why I didn't think about that. So here's the thing. In this book, it works very simply. Okay? Wait, is this set up the right way? No, I need to show cover page. There we go. That's how it's done. All right, so how does EZD6 works? It's very simple. This is it. You roll D6s. If it's an easy task, you have to get a 2 or above. What's up, Ms. Roy? If it's a normal difficulty task, you have to get a 3 or above. If it's hard, very hard, and super hard, you have to get a 4, 5, or 6 respectively. That's it. That is the system. You can think about this in a similar way, comparing it to D&D, where, say, an easy task in D&D might be a 10. A normal task, or you know what, maybe this would be a 5, and a normal task would be a 10, and a hard task would be a 15, very hard would be a 20, and super hard would be a 25. Okay, that's it. Like, you know, basically just multiply. You could even just multiply these by 5 and you get something very similar. But that's the thing, like, the whole concept of mini gamifying picking a lock and saying, hey, the DC of this lock is 18, so you're gonna roll 6d6, and if you roll 1 on any of them, it's a failure. You know what, that's fine. I'm sure a lot of tables would like that, but my thing is does that add unneeded complication into things as well? Would you have a player at your table where it's like, well, I have advantage on this, so how does that work? Do I get to roll all of these twice? Because rolling it all twice actually isn't that good. You have more chances of failure on that. So does advantage mean that you get to re-roll any ones? So if you fail it, you get to re-roll your ones? Because if that's the case, that's like super advantage. You just took a failure and you turned it into a success, because you went from it being like a small percentage that you're going to fail to like a very high percentage chance that you are going to succeed. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot more effort. And you know what, like I said, there's different systems out there that run that way. You know what, but hey, if it works for players at the table, that's awesome. I'll probably talk about some of these other things on another day, stuff like building adventures backwards, because if that's something that he's talked about before, I definitely listened to it when he was I was listening to like the tail end, but I didn't catch all of it, so I have to listen to more of his stuff. I'm very curious to hear what he has to say. So I will probably talk more about that stuff on another day, because boy, am I tired. But I swear to God, there was another thing that you had here. Oh yeah, because I wanted to touch back to this. Here it is. You asked over in Ryan's Discord, the Verdigris table, what is the difference between all the characters I have built and the NPC that I built? And I kind of wanted to touch more on this because I gave a very short answer, because I was driving whenever I answered it. But the thing is that one of the reasons why I love building player characters is because player characters are like why I wouldn't make any one of these characters into an NPC. Okay, so let me express this. When I make a D&D character, I am in almost every case not aiming to build an NPC. And the reason why is because NPCs, you need to be okay with them dying immediately and having no satisfaction. That to me is a core aspect. I build player characters that have a want and desire to adventure and be something more and grow and explore and evolve and reach their goals. I build NPCs to support the players in their goal to drive and evolve and to grow and to develop. And that to me is the biggest difference between building a player character and an NPC. Now, you could have a cool NPC. We just made one tonight, you know, who wants to really connect with the roots of his cult's teachings and do these hunts. Okay, that's giving an NPC purpose. Okay, there's a lot of talk nowadays, especially that says about how you know, a lot of big bads in stories nowadays are emotionally diverse, and it's sometimes considered a bad thing from certain character perspectives, because it's not this whole thing of like what it was back in the day where our bad guy was a bad guy because he was just a bad guy. You know, sometimes people want a character who is just evil because they're evil. But I love giving characters depth. I love giving NPCs depth. Why do they do the things that they do? Because that to me is just as important as developing why they're doing what they're doing. Because if you want to have a big bad who's doing something that is negatively impacting the party to the point that the party is going out adventuring to actively stop that NPC, you need to have the why, okay? You need to have the why of what they're doing. That's, and that might come from me being a manager, you know, in my real life job and all. I explain the whys to my team members, because if I go up to my team members and I say, I don't know, what's a good example? If I go up to my team member, wait, no, I had actually just had a good example and I lost it. So, okay, if I go up to my team member and I say that I need them to maybe they're about to ring somebody up that they know. Okay, for reference, I work in a pharmacy retail environment. Let's say one of my team members, I see them about to ring up one of their friends, and I go up to them and I say, hey, you're not allowed to ring up your friend. Okay, I could leave it at that. She asked me why. I could say because I said so, because it's a policy, and if you do, you get fired. Have someone else come up and ring your friend up, and I could leave it at that. But to me, it's more important to tell my team member, well, it's because the company, if they see you ringing up your friend, you could be giving them some discounts, or you could be slipping them some money. And I'm not saying that you would do that, but the company doesn't know that. The company has people that do that. And so because of that, they don't want you ringing up your friends. That's a very simple thing, but it's the why that matters. It's explaining to them why. Okay, why do most businesses out there have vestibules in their businesses? Do you ever go to a Walmart or a Target and you walk through one set of sliding glass doors and into like an air conditioned or heated room, and then there's another set of sliding glass doors that then leads you into the store? That's called a vestibule, by the way. Do you know why those exist that way and why some places have them? It's so that when the store is about to open, you can leave the front ones, the ones that lead out to the outside and to the elements, unlocked, and you can lock the inside ones. This way, when your team members show up in the morning and they're trying to get in, they're not having to stand out in the weather. If it's raining or storming or, you know, anything else, they can come inside. And it's also for their safety, because if they're inside that vestibule and a customer comes up or some crazy loon comes up, guess what? They can lock that door behind them from the inside. So there's multiple reasons. Now, you know, if somebody were to say like, hey, put 2 sliding glass doors and put this little vestibule in there, you could just say because I said so. But it's explaining the whys about why it's necessary, allows for other people to see what the reasonings on that are. And that's the way that I think NPC should be. I think an NPC should have the whys. I think they should have an understanding. They should have goals and wants and desires. They should have ideals. They should have drives. They should have connections. Okay? Because having a bad guy who's just a bad guy because, you know, they woke up one day and they decided they were going to try and take over the world like Pinky in the Brain, sure, that's funny for a moment, but it's boring as shit after a while. Give them something to rely on. Give them a story. Make them important. And does that mean that you have to do more work as a DM? Yes, it does. But guess what? It's worth it. When your players are confronted with this NPC that has a history, that has a story, that has wants and drives and desires, and they are now having to confront them and basically say your wants and desires are not to the left, are not, you know, good enough for us, so we're gonna kill you. Now you have, you know, your players have to live with that. Maybe there were good things to them, maybe there were bad things to them. Also, the more of that NPC's drives and desires that can be shown on screen, the better. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You know, let it be something where this NPC, you know, has to live through that and it's shown, you know, and that can be for big bads and that can even be for minor NPCs. Okay. You know, recently in my Phandalin 5 campaign, we had an NPC. His name's Tolbin. If you know the town of Phandalin from any of the modules, he's there. Tolbin Stonehill runs a Stonehill Inn. He has recently been very shooken up. And if you watch the P5, you might know that he was recently downed. He was killed by some crab folk. And what ended up happening was when he came out of that, he was like in a catatonic, like 1,000-yard stare. Now, you might see that and you can look at it on the surface level of, oh yeah, no, totally. Like, this guy was a tavern owner. Crab people look like crabs, talk like people. I love that episode. You know, you can have somebody like Tolbin who's, oh yeah, he's just a tavern owner and that's it. And he's no depth beyond that. And he's just, hey folks, how you doing? Like, come on down, have an ale, blah, blah, blah. You know, here's some apple pie, blah, blah, blah. In my campaign, Tolbin Stonehill was one of the first NPCs that the party got to meet. In the first sessions, they found out, or in the first handful of sessions, oh, did my music stop? Oh, weird. In the first couple sessions of my campaign, the players found out that Tolbin used to have a wife and a daughter. Okay? And something happened to them. And now he runs his tavern by himself. He has an occasional helper. The players never got to meet that guy because, you know what? I just always had Tolbin there. But, you know, he would have to sleep and then somebody would keep an eye on things for him. But throughout the campaign, Tobin, at one point, the party, speaking back to the lycanthropy, the party had one of their players contract lycanthropy from the Whisker Gang, and that is Zelene Varnaster, the leader of that. They had captured her and they took her back to the Stonehill Inn, and they told Tobin, like, hey, keep an eye on her, she's a bad guy, and we need to go get her stuff so that she can make Zash better. Well, while the players were gone, Tobin wasn't a huge fan of having some woman locked up in the upstairs of his place. So, he basically came up and was like, hey, if you help me out around the tavern, I'll let you out of your chains and all, or your cuffs. So she did. She didn't run away. He was nice enough. And he grew a liking to her. The party then encountered this young girl named Maggie, who was turned into a cow, and it's this whole backstory. But when they got back, they had asked if Tobin and Zelene could keep an eye on Maggie. Now, in that moment, Tobin had grown a fondness for Zelene. And now with this young girl who basically missed out on a huge portion of her life because she got turned into a cow for many years, Tobin now had kind of a surrogate family. He had a woman that he had a fondness of, and he had this young girl that he was now in charge of, replacements for his wife and daughter. And this was all based on the party deciding to do this. The party could have let the girl go somewhere else. The party could have let Zelene off somewhere else or done whatever, killed her. But through the party's actions, they provided Tobin with a surrogate family. Now, the party is currently on a ship on their way to the Temple of Restoration to revive Maggie, because Maggie was killed accidentally in the collapse of the dwarven fortress known as Axholm when it was attacked by a bunch of orcs. So Tobin and Zelene are obviously there because they are her acting parents. They're basically the surrogates because Maggie's parents are dead, and she knows that. So these are the closest things she has to parents. Now, Zelene is a warrior. She's a fighter. She's a were-rat. She was the leader of a pretty vicious gang. So a lot of combat doesn't really faze her. Tobin is not. Tobin was a barkeep. He was a bartender. He was an entertainer at most, making people laugh and telling stories and listening to people. So when not only his own family, his own wife and daughter had been dead for some time, but his surrogate daughter has been dead now for days. And on top of that, he watched his surrogate wife drop, and then he ran to try and get to safety, only to be pursued and killed. And his mind is broken. And this is the thing, like, these are the developments that evolve a character. So, that's the point I'm kind of making with this. Tobin had a backstory, and through the actions of the party gave him something so important to himself that the moment he lost that, something in him broke. Now, yes, he has his surrogate wife back. Zelene is alive. He is also alive, but he's still missing out on that daughter. And also, the thing to consider is what happens when you die. Do you go to the ethereal border? Would you see those you care about? Is the reason why he is the way he is because he saw his wife and daughter through the veil, but has now this connection with Maggie and Zelene? We don't know. That's all stuff that has to come later. But having an NPC that has a background, that has a story, tells so much more than just, about evil. Zelene is another one. A DM could go in and basically say, hey, okay, Zelene's a were-rat, so she's evil. That's it. You know, bottom of the line. She's evil because she were-rat, she bad people. In my campaign, Zelene was a young girl one day who lived on a farm. She was bitten by a rabid were-rat who burst through the forest, who attacked her family, bit her and left her alive so she could contract it, but killed everyone else. She then became a were-rat, and the whole village ostracized her. So she left and started up essentially a lycanthropic cult known as the Whisker Gang, where they don't see it as a curse, they see it as a gift. Okay, so hell, Zelene could be one of the leaders of that cult that we worked on earlier, or the Whisker Gang could be a cult like that, you know. But that's it. Like, when the party found out about a lot of this, that she doesn't see it as a curse, she sees it as a gift, the party was more likely to want to, like, to be willing to, you know, diplomatize with her, to be able to talk with her, instead of just like, yeah, I am a rat person and I want you all to die. Giving them the whys is a necessary thing as a DM, because it allows for your players to have an opportunity to connect with them, to see things from their perspective. Everyone's a hero in their own story. That's the main thing you have to remember. You know, everyone thinks they're doing the right things. So, but yeah, so, all right, well, honestly, I think that's probably going to be it for me tonight. We just kind of like just cutting off there. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to address, you know, that to me is I know this stemmed from, that's the biggest difference between a PC and an NPC. I'm going to reiterate what I said over in Ryan's Discord. When you're building an NPC versus a PC in something like the Compendium of Explosive Creation, this is a PC should have a campaign story and arc that is something that will evolve the character over time, and is what the story and the campaign and the party should be working towards. An NPC should have their own background and their own story, but they should be there to support the rest of the party. They should be there to provide flair and to provide flavor for everything, but to provide resources. In that story that I was talking about with Tolbin, Zelene, and Maggie, through their connections with those characters, the party found out more information about high wizards that have nefarious reachings across the world that can lead to other things. So, that's it. You know, NPCs should support your player characters, or NPC arcs should support your player character arcs. So there you go. But yeah, like I said, that's gonna do it for me tonight. Just you know, one more showcase of this. Go check out Ryan Doyle's Kickstarter, the Game Master's Compendium of Explosive Creation. I haven't mentioned this actually, but also Cinderblock Sally did a video and he brought it up, and I think I should. It's system agnostic, okay, like he has here: 5e, Pathfinder, old school, Renaissance. Oh, sorry, I couldn't remember what that was for a second. Okay, there's no mechanics to there's no mechanics built into it. There's nothing that is like, oh, you get a +3 to this or no. It's just story. Okay, it's flavor, it's fluff. So you can use it whether you're playing 5e, whether you're playing Pathfinder, whether you're playing Easy D6, whether you're playing Old Gods of Appalachia, you know, whatever it is you might be into, It's there for you. Oh, you could honestly use it for yeah, that's it. You want to develop a character, don't even use it for tabletop. You just want to write a story, use it to develop your characters. Yeah, that's a good point. So, but with that said, I'm gonna bounce. My eyes are tired. They're so tired. We're gonna do the confetti one more time. Yay, confetti. It's the end of the stream and I am free. Congratulations, Ryan, on getting your Kickstarter to this point. I'm really happy for you and I can't wait to see more of it as time goes on. But to everybody else who's watching out there, thanks for hanging out with me. I always appreciate it. It's lots of fun hanging out, chatting, getting to showcase some things, but I'm sleepy and I don't use my own emotes enough, but there we go. We got some sleepy little ghosts in the chat. But that's gonna do it for me. I'll see you guys on Thursday for an action-packed adventure in the first 15 of 3 games. So, oh, also, I might be using a new layout over there as well. It's not that different, but I'll give you a sneak peek. Let's go over to the arcade real quick. Hey, look, there's the 3 games I'm going to be playing this Thursday. And guess what? He hasn't shown up in a while. And I might have scared him away. But a viewer, Azzy, who used to come around here and, we used to chat about some of his characters that he would make. He mentioned one time, some of the screen real estate is really focused more on, on these, on this over here. Okay. So yeah, look at that. It's not huge. It's not that much bigger, but it's bigger. It's called the bigger arcade. Sure, this down here. This is different. But yeah, I've slightly shifted down. The Kelf's arcade is gone from my desk. That's true. But with this, I slightly shifted down. There's also more room for you guys to talk up there. So some of you guys talk a lot. But yeah, I gotta scale that up though, because I think it is a little off. But yeah, so I don't know. We'll see. So wait, yes. So we can see your reactions to the game. Yeah, I mean, I'm still there. I'm still there in the corner. Ooh, gotta move that. No, let's put that back. Yeah, I don't know. I still have this one. It's there. I'm still here in the corner. You can still see me. I'm around. I ain't going anywhere. It's just kind of a mixture of how I used to do it and how I've been doing it, and kind of something a little new, also a little more screen real estate. So we'll see. I'm gonna give it a try for a bit. That's it. We gotta at least give it a try. We gotta see how it works. All right, everybody, go back to the tavern. There we go. Nice and cozy here in the tavern amongst all my boys up there. All right, folks, have a good night. I'm gonna go to bed. Bye.